And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake, helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back. Today, we are doing another, let me switch cameras there again. We're doing another Monetization Monday for you. It is currently Monday, April 8th when I'm doing this live stream. Shout out to everybody on the replay squad. If you're watching the replay, we're going to try and get timestamps for you so you can follow along. But today we're going to be doing a lot of things. We're going to be focusing on monetization and making $10,000 a month as a full-time content creator. One of the things we'll do is we will go again through some of the things in my media kit and my rate card and case studies, around that, because like most content creators, my largest revenue stream is sponsored content, brand deals, and user-generated content, all working in partnership with brands. So we definitely will be covering that. We'll also be covering some stuff with my analytics. I'll be walking you through my lifetime earnings and my individual yearly earnings on the YouTube platform. We'll go into advanced mode for that, but we have some really cool stuff there. A lot of content creators don't show this stuff. I'm extremely transparent with all of you about my income sources and my revenue streams. Oh, excuse me. And a lot of content creators will talk about these things, but they don't show you some of the inside baseball or behind the scenes of it. I've been one of the first people doing it back when everyone thought that would get you kicked out of the YouTube Partner Program. I was one of the first people to debunk that, actually, and to just show my ad revenue, my CPMs, my RPMs. I was one of the first, if you ever go look at that. But I'll be breaking down the strategy around diversifying your income streams, because this is extremely important. A lot of you get fixated on YouTube ad revenue. Transparency. I don't earn $10,000 a month from AdSense. AdSense is actually only 8 to 12% of my income at any given time, and I actually like it that way. A lot of people use AdSense as a badge of honor the same way they use YouTube as a badge of honor. At this point, I'm actually trying to diversify my platforms, and I think that with the new advertising program that X.com, formerly Twitter, is doing, you're hearing it here first. I genuinely believe that eventually X.com will be a comparable revenue stream in the near future to what the beginnings of YouTube ad revenue was in the earlier days of YouTube. And I see that starting to happen. I'm starting to see ad revenue on videos start for people. So people who are posting a lot of video content are starting to actually make decent revenue on X.com. I saw a creator, Tiffany Fong. She's not nearly as big or famous as Mr. Beast. I saw her go from getting $60 every pay period on X.com, formerly Twitter, to getting $5,000 the other day. And she didn't go hyper viral or anything. So for me, I'm like, okay, the ad revenue is finally starting to trickle in. I hear advertisers are coming back, but ad revenue is not like the only thing. And in fact, for a lot of content creators, the full-time content creators, they earn over $10,000 a month. I currently earn well over that, closer to 25 to 30,000, but I'll break that down later. That usually comes from something else. Usually it's not ad revenue. Usually most full-time content creators are diversified, and there are 6 main revenue streams, and they capitalize on at least 3 or 4 of them. So that's part of one of the first things. Is we'll talk about what some of these income streams are outside of the YouTube Partner Program, because what a lot of people do is they'll fixate on the YouTube Partner Program, things like channel memberships, super chats. And YouTube has its own affiliate program now, by the way, with the tagged products. So YouTube offers a lot of ways to monetize. And don't get me wrong, we're all very grateful for our YouTube Partner Program, our YouTube Partner revenue. We're all very happy that that thing exists for creators. However, even with that being the case, and us being very happy with having that, the reality is that you have to also take into consideration that not everyone is going to thrive in the YouTube Partner Program based on the type of content they make. Not everyone is going to be in the good graces of YouTube and the Partner Program at all times. And so if you really think about that, and if you take a look at what that means, then it kind of basically gets you to a place where you realize, okay, I have to figure out how to make money outside of YouTube, because if I'm relying on YouTube purely for the ad revenue or the YouTube partner program, well, YouTube and Google giveth, and YouTube and Google taketh away. So what would happen if they take that away from you? You have to consider, well, what am I going to do then? And so for a lot of people, the smart move is to really look at things such as their the ability and capacity to do brand deals and partnerships, the ability to really focus on how they can work directly with brands outside the YouTube platform, so they're not even, dependent on the amount of views you get. At a certain point, you also are going to want to start to look at things like even just looking at your own email list, and also your capacity to say, is the production value, the editing, all the other things I bring to the table, is that strong enough to ensure that I can live without what the YouTube partner program provides for me? So again, I historically, as you can see here, because I'm using the sort by date metric, and we don't really need average view duration or watch hours. We don't really need any of that here. I'm showing you a breakdown over the years of my ad revenue, because again, for a lot of you, that's the income source you're familiar with. So it's what you care about. But when I first started, you can see this. When I first started with YouTube, and I mean really first started taking it seriously, because again, I had an account, but I wasn't taking it seriously. I didn't look at it. I didn't really start posting until 2012, 2013, mostly 2013, taking it seriously. And if I show you this, this is the part that's really interesting. There's gonna be a glitch in like 2008 as far as videos. That's because there was a glitch in YouTube where everyone had their stuff unpublished and then republished. So you can ignore that one, but there is a correlation between when I was able to finally start making money and making this work, and how much I was uploading. And you can see when I took it seriously and I really got started, this 2013, I started in summer of 2013. Then at some point in 2014, I went nearly daily. Then in 2015, I was definitely daily, and so on and so forth. And the closer I got to maintain that cadence, I got more views, I got more subscribers. If we add subscribers here, you'll start to realize something. So let's see, if we go by date. So let's see. When I had like no audience, right? Just like no audience, I gained an audience, working on it, growing, okay, posting more. You can see my growth is always in proportion to how much I post. Remember, we have to ignore some of the data around 2018, because that posting cadence is not going to be accurate, because all the videos were unpublished and then republished because YouTube had a site-wide glitch at the time. Some of you might remember this. This even caused negative subscriber counts at the time. So if you were around in 2018, you remember it was like probably, I want to say October was the big glitch or something. It was something like that. It was somewhere in the fall time of 2018, and it was a massive thing. So those of you who are around might remember that. Hey, Benji. It's good to see you here. And Benji's right. It's not one, it's multiple income streams, multiple things. And one big thing can be a gushing geyser of your focus. Absolutely, Benji. I agree with that. And AdSense can be underrated, and it can be good. There are creators I know who make thousands of dollars a month, 30,000, even up to $100,000 a month from AdSense. So I'm not entirely knocking it, but I am reminding you that as more people join YouTube, it does push down the ad rates over time, and that it's very competitive for those advertising dollars. Advertisers become more ruthless over time too, maybe even a little more stingy. And we have had advertiser boycotts on the platform before. So while I'm not knocking AdSense, I want to caution you I also want to remind you that you can be removed from the YouTube Partner Program, and that sometimes they don't always get those things right. Sometimes you can say it's unfair. So while I think that 90% of the time or more, they get it right, there are just some times when they don't. So just remember that, we have to be cautious and that we have to diversify and keep ourselves safe and not dependent on these platforms, and that we should be using every platform that is willing to pay us. Yep, no, I appreciate you, Benji. Benji, if you do end up wanting to come on this stream, since you're around and you want to hop on with StreamYard, let me know, and I'll send you a link to join me if you want to chop it up for a minute. And if you have any words of wisdom for the audience, Benji Travis, for you guys who don't know, his own YouTube channel and vlogging journey. He's a very, very prominent, successful content creator. Benjamin TV, you can definitely check him out. He also, in partnership with his wife, Judy, who you may be familiar with from her multiple YouTube channels, including It's Judy Time and so on and so forth. They have multiple gold and silver play buttons, OG creators, been in the game longer than so many people and still here, still thriving with their family. So absolutely. David Harvey official says AdSense can be a great accountability tool to keep creating. It can be inspiration, and it can be accountability to some degree. But again, I just remind you and caution you to remember that it's all still contingent on YouTube approving of the content that you're monetizing. So be aware of that. Now with me, even with ad revenue over the years, the thing that's increased the most for me is sponsorship and brand deals. And so sponsorship and brand deals has become a much, much more important revenue stream for me over the years. And I've showcased a little bit of that with my media kit and those packages. We walk through exactly how to do this in our other Monetization Monday stream. I believe it's from last week. You can watch it in the live tab on YouTube, but we actually covered UGC content, monetization. We talked a little bit about, I think, management as well, and about pricing and positioning around brand deals. And I walked you through every page of my media kit. We're not going to go through all of my media kit today, but the brand deals have been an important revenue stream to definitely carry me well over. And I make over $100,000 a year through brand deals alone. So for me, I'm doing over 10,000 just in those partnership relationships through brands. You would want to do this on 6 and 12-month contracts. Usually I talk about this more in our brand deals stream that we did. I also teach this over in the awesomecreatoracademy.com pro group. I have a link to that in the description. I'll drop it in the chat later. But we also definitely make sure that we cover that in all of our material. So Vess Gardens ask, for the people who are making, and I'll just enlarge myself for this one. So Vess Gardens ask, Roberto, for the people making 10K to 30K a month from AdSense alone, how are they doing it? Their retention has to be at least 70% every video, right? False. So again, if too many of you follow strategist, or you look at what Mr. Beast is doing, you have the mythical notion that to have the most views and the most revenue, that you have to hit mythical numbers like 70% retention rate every video, double-digit click-through rates, and it's actually not true. These things change and vary from different niches and from different strategies. One primary example is the fact that, generally speaking, gaming channels have historically low CPM and RPM rates. In fact, whenever I talk about AdSense, here comes the gamers and the low CPM and RPM rates. And there are exceptions to that. Minecraft, for example, is an exception to that. And they don't always have to get high retention rates. They can still get 40, 50, or 30% retention rates. But if you do a Minecraft channel and you have 45-minute and 1-hour videos on Minecraft channel and people watching them because they just want to veg out on that, and it's sandbox content. Same thing for GTA. As long as you're not demonetized and you have the opportunity to put 4 or 5 mid-roll ads in there, you end up with a much higher CPM, much higher RPM rate. And you don't need the majority, you don't need all of the audience to be watching if it's a significant amount. So it's really not about retention rates. I would argue, if anything, it's a lot more about watch time. And click-through rates can matter if you're not getting impressions. But if you're getting impressions, if you're getting more than enough impressions, the click-through rate doesn't necessarily matter. We covered this in our analytics deep dives, by the way. And one of the reasons we were able to do that is we were able to show you the data from the replays of these live stream workshops and show you that what really mattered was a 45-minute average view duration. It didn't matter what the percentage of retention was. It was the 45-minute average view durations are what mattered. And then we were able to show you that we had extremely high CPMs and RPMs, and it wasn't because of the donations. It was because of the fact that there were multiple ads in the replays of the video, because in a 3 or 4 hour live stream, it's okay to put one in every 20 minutes or so, every 15 to 20 minutes. So that significantly increased the ad rates, especially when we also had timestamps and chapters and so on and so forth. So it tended to work out. So length of video and then the amount of ad breaks has a higher influence on that ad revenue than the retention rate. The retention rate isn't also necessarily just being the thing to qualify people for higher ad rates. It's just the audience demographics in the niche. So this could be country geography, device types, time of day watching, but it also fluctuates. The reason that YouTube is such a hard gig for people is because they're expecting that I worked this hard, I did this many hours, I uploaded this many videos, so where's my steady paycheck? And the problem with ad revenue is that ads are a live auction marketplace. Ads are a live auction marketplace, and ads are based on monthly and quarterly budgets. And then ads also, again, advertisers can boycott. You guys may remember something called the adpocalypse for YouTube. We've had 4 of them, I think. We've had like 4 advertiser boycotts where major advertisers decide that they wanted some change in the behavior of YouTube as a platform, or they didn't like the behavior of certain creators or things happening on the platform. You guys may remember something called ElsaGate, and major advertisers withdrew billions of dollars from the YouTube and Google ecosystem until changes were made. Some of you may remember this, and ad rates plummeted, okay? You also may remember things like the writer strikes. During the writer strikes, there were less movies being made. Same thing with the pandemic, less movie trailers being made. Guess what? Less ads to go around and less competition for ad placement. Less competition in advertising drives prices down. Less ads and more content creators also drives prices down, drives surface area and distribution up, also lowers the prices. So there are things that control the pricing levers for advertising that have nothing to do with you or your content and have to do with a live marketplace of where dollars are flowing into, which is another thing that makes AdSense reliable. So no matter what you do consistently as a content creator, if you rely on AdSense, you cannot guarantee consistent income because all the variables that control how you make your money are not in your control. You don't pull the levers of control there. It's the market that decides. So that's why I am not the biggest raw cheerleader of trying to optimize your YouTube channel to make all this money on AdSense, or saying, well, how can I just make that amount of money from AdSense alone? Because that just seems like the path of least resistance. And the reason that comes off as the path of least resistance for creators is if they rely on ad revenue, they can look at their audience and go, see, I'm not a sellout. I'm not selling you t-shirts and hats. Hey, I'm not, sitting here taking brand deals all the time and pushing sponsors on you. Hey, I'm not an affiliate marketer. Hey, I'm not selling a course. The thing is, the morality police and the prestige badge of that is actually hurting creators, because then a lot of people hear their favorite creators say nonsense like that, and then they feel bad about the fact, well, I was going to try and do this, but I guess if this creator says it's bad, I don't want to be bad. And so they end up listening to these people. But these are also people who are just winning a popularity contest on YouTube and also are doing everything in their power to never get on the wrong side of advertisers, which also means then you're not necessarily always doing what you want. You're doing what will get you the most ad revenue. You're doing what, you might suppress some of your own free speech and self-police, self-censor and go, oh, I won't do that. I won't put that in my video. I won't do that joke because, I'll get demonetized, the ad revenue. So the thing is, there's not the purity test that a lot of creators put themselves through in how they quote unquote ethically monetize is really unfortunate, because you have a lot of popular creators who end up kind of bullying other creators out of different opportunities. And it's like, just because something's not right for you doesn't mean it's not right for another creator. So something could be not right for you, your audience, your niche, the way you do content, but it might be really right for that other creator. It's fine if some creators like do brand deals. In my opinion, if someone's doing really high-end content, I have no issue if someone doing really high-end content or that has a lot of employees to make their content. I have no issue if every single video is a sponsored video. It would never bother me. It will never bother me if a YouTuber with 10 employees, 20 employees that they're paying good wages to, giving them health care, and the content is quality. I will never complain about the fact that every video is a sponsored video. It makes perfect sense to me. And so that's fine. And if the mainstream media isn't getting those dollars, then it's even better, because those dollars will go somewhere. They'll go to a creator or they'll go to a television network. I'd rather they go to a creator. That's a personal bias I have. Money's got to go somewhere. Advertising's got to go somewhere, right? So I'm fine with those brand deal dollars going to a creator instead of like a formal celebrity or a multinational corporation or a news network or whoever it would be going to, right? So it doesn't bother me in the least. Some people, though, really take offense to that and they hate the thing and blah, blah, blah. So that's fine. I'm not going to sit there, and as long as someone's not scamming their audience, I'm not going to sit there and worry about how they're making their money. So that's just one example. People who sell merchandise. Oh, you're selling the merchandise. You did it. It's like, look, you can wear the merchandise and logo of a faceless corporation that may not care about you or a creator you feel connected to. Pick your poison. So it's, again, I don't have any issue with people who sell merchandise. Same thing with digital products, online courses. As long as you deliver a good quality product that your audience wants and is willing to buy, I'm not going to be the person complaining about you. I'm not going to be pocket watching you. I don't care. I'd rather you're getting that money than some multinational conglomerate getting that money. I do understand that they're going to get their fair share because they probably own the manufacturing for your product, but fair enough. All right. So for me, I believe that creators should diversify in such a way to where they start to get much, much more control over the flow of their money. And I believe that when you rely too much on advertising revenue and on brand deals, even though those are the two biggest revenue streams for most creators, it just takes too much out of your control because of the contracts you have to sign and because of the things you have to agree to, and it can limit your expression, your control of your content, and your speech. There are ways to get around that. There are ways where some brands actually will just let you do your own thing, but it's not everybody. And so that's one of the concerns I have. What I believe in is diversifying your income streams and saying, okay, I'm going to earn some of my revenue on platform and have an on-platform strategy, and I'm going to have a off-platform strategy. And my preference would be this. I'd rather that you make the majority of your money off-platform instead of on-platform. But at a minimum, I at least would like it to be 50-50. And if you need more than $5,000 a month to live off of, then that's where you would have to make $10,000 off platform and then $5,000 to $10,000 on platform. Now, for me personally, I decided to try to minimize the amount of on platform revenue that I make on purpose. So my on platform revenue from YouTube sits at about 8 to 12% of my income. I'm not optimizing for AdSense. It's the other reason I'm not chasing views. It's the other reason I'm also willing to distribute my content outside of YouTube, even with these live streams, and put it on every platform that I possibly can. And I'm not worried about whether every platform plays ad revenue, because what I'm doing is I'm driving attention for my off-platform strategies. So my off-platform strategies are more like the things like affiliate marketing, for example. So whether that's Amazon affiliate links, Tubebuddy, Streamyard, OpusClip, Kajabi affiliate links, whatever the affiliate links are for software, that means, okay, I could take people off of YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, drive them to a place that potentially can pay me if they decide they like the product. I also drive traffic to my own website, Awesome Creator Academy, so I can sell my own digital products. I can sell my own membership where I don't split it with the platform. Even with digital education products, let's say you decide, well, you want to keep everything on YouTube. YouTube's actually starting to offer courses now, and it's going to work kind of like Udemy. So you'll be able to build courses in order and even have PDFs and files and stuff like that on YouTube coming up. Here's the thing, though. There is a catch. If you make a $100 or $1,000, and the limit's going to be like $99, it's going to be $1,000. Let's say you made, let's say you did make a $1,000 course on YouTube for the sake of argument, or even you made $1,000 selling 10 courses, you made $1,000. 70-30 split with the platform, just like every super chat and every channel membership. It's 70-30 with YouTube. And YouTube approves of the content, and so they decide whether you get to sell or not. So I want you to understand this. If you make a digital course on YouTube as a platform, you will give up, it'll be 70-30. You give up 30%. It'll be 70-30. So you lose 30%. So if you make $1,000, YouTube gets 300 of those dollars. And then out of that 700, just remember, you're going to have to pay taxes on that 700 as well. So there goes another 30 to 50%. So just keep that in mind. Again, I love YouTube and I love that they're offering this. I'm probably going to do some kind of free course and some cheaper ones on YouTube because, it's better to have something rather than nothing. But I also have Kajabi, one of our sponsors today, because I can sell it myself, not split a percentage with Kajabi for hosting it. I just pay my flat monthly service fee. My costs never change, but my revenue can always go up. And so then I'm keeping more of my money, and then I just pay the taxes. So you have to keep in mind, what's my on-platform and off-platform strategy? And then when they tell you, oh, well, isn't the money you're making enough? Well, is it enough for you to buy a team's help so that you can actually spend time with your family and not get burnt out and make the content better? Can you afford to hire a team? Okay, then you need to make more money. Can you afford to pay your taxes? No, then you need to pay more. You need to make more money. So the thing is, pursuing more money, more revenue streams. It's not about greed. It is about understanding the necessity and the function and the tool that money is going to be to buy back some boundaries. So when people become a full-time content creator at 10,000, what happened was they bought themselves out of their 9-to-5 job and out of what they disliked about their 9-to-5 job. Now, for a lot of people, the way they get there is AdSense and brand deals, usually their first big brand deal. Now, there are other ways. With me, my first big break with revenue was the Amazon affiliate program. The Amazon affiliate program was helping me make $1,500 a month back in the day as a small YouTuber. Now, that was a lot of money for me because you got to remember, this is back in 2013, 14, 2015, that kind of era. But also, I was living in North Carolina at the time. Rent for a 3-bedroom was $950. Making $1,500 on Amazon may not sound like a lot to y'all today. It was life-changing money for me. I could pay rent and utilities with that check from Amazon, that check from Jeff Bezos, rent and utilities. I wasn't worried about making ad revenue. And then I had all my freelancing on top of that because I was a full-time freelancer, which also is how I left the 9-to-5 job, be a full-time freelancer. So I had my client work, and then I had my Amazon affiliate money. I was not having to work 40 hours a week to make rent. Wow, that was life-changing money for me at the time, let alone 10,000. So it was this incremental progress. It was, oh, wow, I made my first $1,000. Oh, wow, I made my first $3,000 doing, oh, wow, I made $5,000 this month. I never made that as an employee. Wow, this is all possible. So it was multiple revenue streams adding up together. Oh, I'm getting $300 in AdSense. Oh, I made $1,500 on Amazon. Oh, I did a $1,000 client project. Oh, wow, I'm making real good money now. I'm not worried about making rent. Oh my God, I'm a month ahead on my rent. That was how it started for me, is all these different income streams. I learned about Tubebuddy and software as a service affiliate. I was already a customer of theirs. I was like, oh, you have an affiliate program? I'll sign up for that. And that's, oh, wow, passive income. Wait, you guys are going to pay me every month for making a sales and getting people to use the product. I get paid every month if they like the product. If they keep the product, I make money. And so all of a sudden, I had another revenue stream that was out earning all my AdSense revenue. And then eventually it got to $5,000 a month in affiliate money. And then I did other affiliate programs. And so I make maybe $5,000, $6,000 regularly every month from affiliate revenue, passive income now from software. and from evergreen content. I do brand deals. I get the AdSense. So the thing is, you can see that all of these things add up, and they add up. Now, the thing is, it's inconvenient if you don't make ad revenue sometimes, but if you have enough other income streams, you could say, well, what if something happens to this? What if something happens to that? The more income streams you have, the more things can go wrong before you're in trouble. And the more income streams you have, you can have an income stream and say, okay, this income stream pays all my bills. Hey, this income stream pays my team. Hey, this one pays my taxes. Hey, this one pays down all my debt. Hey, this income stream helps me fund my retirement account. That's why I believe in having multiple income streams, is because you can assign them to areas of your life to improve when you look at the money that you're making as a tool that you can utilize instead of a goal for a status. Instead of it being a goal for status, you can say, oh, wow, there's an entire income stream where I don't worry about my bills and they're on auto pay. Hey, there's an income stream that lets me buy back my time, have access to my family because I can outsource this work, and these people get to live a good life. So, oh, I have an income stream for my team. Oh, my future self, it has a funded retirement. Oh, my, present self is paying down its debt and having savings, and so on and so forth. Oh, here's the thing. I'll pay taxes every month through this income stream or every quarter instead of worrying about it at the end of the year. So if you could have 4 to 5 strong income streams that are between, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, setting that up is ideal as a content creator instead of living off of your AdSense. And like I said, you don't need a mythical double-digit click-through rate, and you don't need a 70% retention rate. What you need is a monetization strategy that gives you online and offline revenue. You need to figure out whether you're in a profitable niche or not, and you need to figure out what your business plan for your channel or channels actually is. So it's Jasmine Smith says, hey, Roberto, I'm struggling to get AdSense money. I've been monetized for a year. I've not even gotten the $100 check yet. I need help with partnership and brand deal packages. Well, here's the thing. If you're struggling to even get $100 from AdSense, you're not ready for partnership and brand deal packages at all. If you can't even get the views and the attention from views required to get the first $100 check, and I'll break down some math for a lot of you. For most of you to get your first $100, we know that it's going to be 50 to 100,000 views for most of you. And by that, I mean 50,000 views. It's going to be 50,000 to 100,000 views. And so we know that. And how do we know that? So let's see. Yeah, we know for a fact that to meet the $100 payment threshold for most of you, given that I'm in a higher paying niche, even back for 2012 standards, and we can still adjust this, but for most of you, it's going to be 50 to 100,000 views for you to make your first $100 on YouTube. If you cannot achieve getting the views that would give you even that kind of money in AdSense, you cannot ask a brand for money. You cannot ask a brand for money. Now, a lot of YouTubers don't agree with me on this. A lot of content creators don't agree with me on this. They have their reasons. I do not believe you should be prioritizing brand deals. This is me personally. I do not believe that a creator that does not have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, minimum, I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying that a creator that does not have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, in my mind, should not be prioritizing brand deals. They should be prioritizing building their audience and building a relationship with their audience. And why do I say that? It's not gatekeeping. It's not being pretentious. Number one, you will probably, if you haven't at least reached that threshold, probably be undermined at every single level in your negotiations, and you will take a deal that you're not supposed to unless you've been coached. Unless you've been coached, the odds of you getting a good deal, a respectable deal, the odds of you getting anything but a disrespectful offer become extremely likely. It becomes extremely likely you will get a disrespectful offer and you will accept a disrespectful offer if you do not at least have 10,000 subscribers. Most content creators who are smaller, who do brand deals, they act from desperation. They want legitimacy. They want validation. They want the bragging rights. I'm not saying this as a criticism. I'm saying this as a warning and as a point of fact that a business decision should not be made from a place of desperation or emotion. And it devalues you as a content creator. At 10,000, you will be more seasoned, you'll be more well-rounded, you will be more confident, and you will have more data than if you do it beforehand. There are exceptions to this rule. Most people are the rule, not the exception. The reason I say this is because the majority of people who get screwed over are always going to be the micro influencers and the nano influencers in general. Now, what you can do and should do under 10,000, in my opinion, is you should be building up affiliate marketing income by getting your audience to trust what you do before a brand ever does and ever pays you. And you should be converting sales through affiliate marketing and getting performance-based commissions through that. This will give you the case studies you need to prove that you have a strong bond with your audience that will buy on your word, buy on your say-so. It's also easier to make $100 in affiliate commissions than it is in ad revenue, and it is easier to do that than convince a brand when you don't have that many subscribers or followers to trust you enough to give you hundreds or thousands of dollars. So your best bet in many cases is affiliate marketing and starting with things like the Amazon influencer program. And if you're monetized in YouTube, consider using the YouTube tag products in their affiliate program through the YouTube tab products and YouTube shopping. So if you are struggling to get to your first $100, your best bet is to get that first $100 not from ad revenue, but from super chats by building a relationship with your audience. If you build a relationship with your audience on the way to 10,000 subscribers, and you're doing weekly live streams and connecting with them, and you're respecting them, and you're building a great community, then in channel memberships and in super chats, super thanks, and super stickers, you can make 100 a month through doing weekly live streams and meet that threshold and payout if you're building a community. If you're not prioritizing building a community and you're looking for every which way that you can get paid out instead of making building the relationship the priority, the revenue cannot happen without the relationship. I usually say reach, reputation, revenue. Why? Because that also ties to traffic, trust, transaction. That's the virtuous cycle of the creator flywheel. Okay. The creator economy flywheel, as dictated by Roberto Blake, trademark. The creator flywheel, the creator economy flywheel, as dictated by Roberto Blake, is traffic, trust, transaction. Without traffic, you have nobody to build trust with. Without trust, there's no transaction. So you can't make money without getting attention. You can't turn attention into dollars without earning people's respect and earning people's trust and creating value for them. That's why I call it the virtuous cycle of the creator flywheel, because it's not about exploiting or manipulating people. You have to reach people by offering something of value. Then you have to deliver on that and build a reputation for delivering on that. And then that value has to offer so much utility that there are things people are willing to reward you with in terms of revenue and pay you and reward you for the value that you've delivered to them up until that point. And that relationship exists whether it's with your audience or with the advertisers or with the sponsors or what have you. So the thing is, this is what we have to do. And so we cannot necessarily get traffic and reach without having something to offer people. Then we have to go from there and we have to make it not be just a casual thing. We have to get commitments from people. We have to turn them into leads. And therefore, we have to build a reputation. We have to build trust. And then a portion of those people qualify to go further and deeper into exclusivity. And exclusivity takes the form of a transaction of some kind where we're now exchanging value. You've created upfront value for them. Now they're ready to reciprocate value. And you've de-risked the reciprocation for them through reputation and trust. So that's the commodity that like allows them to realize that this is a low risk. So if you are struggling to get to $100 check in AdSense, you do not qualify, in my opinion, to do brand deals and sponsorship. If you are struggling to get to 10,000 subscribers, you need to focus on the value and commitment to your audience and build audience loyalty. Because the thing is, if you can't get the audience to commit and come through, then it's not going to be a great deal for the brands. It's just not going to be a great deal for the brands. So that's something that I want you guys to understand. And speaking of brands and speaking of sponsors, this actually is a really good point in the program to shout out my sponsors and tell you what they're offering and how they create value. So we've got our friends at Streamyard. Streamyard is the easiest way to do live streaming and simulcasting across multiple platforms. I'm on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn Live. I'm on Facebook Live, x.com, formerly Twitter, twitch.com, and even kick.com. All 6 platforms simultaneously. I try to be in every platform that will pay me. So I'm able to do that with Streamyard. I'm also able to do that with the interviews for my podcast. If you want to check out my podcast, it's called Create Something Awesome Today. I also am able to strip out the audio from that and then distribute it in all the audio platforms. Streamyard gives me transcripts I don't have to pay extra for. And there's all these great features. And so then we have our other partner, OpusClip. All of these people are linked in the description down below. OpusClip lets me repurpose my content, including my live streams, across all my other platforms. I can do YouTube Shorts. I can do Instagram Reels. I can post to x.com, formerly Twitter. I can post to LinkedIn. And even though I don't mess with TikTok, you guys are welcome to do it there too. And it gives me animated auto captions. So it's a great tool. You can check out a free trial of both of these linked in the description. Then finally, we have our friends at Kajabi. Kajabi is why I'm not a digital sharecropper reliant on my YouTube AdSense revenue. I'm able to build my online coaching business where I have the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group, one-on-one coaching calls, YouTube channel reviews, and a membership community and cohort all in one package. And I pay a flat fee, not giving up 30% of my precious revenue to the platform and then another 30% to the IRS. And so that's because of Kajabi and being able to host my online education platform there. So if you're an education creator, make sure you're signing up for them with a free trial. Links to all this in the description out below. Thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors for making this happen. And now all of you also have a really good example of how you communicate the value of your brands and integrate it into your live streams. You're welcome. And so I bring this up because when we look at ad revenue, which I'm not entirely knocking ad revenue, but I want to show you what a struggle it can be. I wasn't really uploading videos in any serious manner until 2013 when I started making weekly content halfway through 2013 in like July. And as you can see here, when you're not consistent and you're not at least getting views and subscribers and you're not uploading, it's hard to make money. And even when you start, it's hard to make money. And so this is the data that's also lost because I joined a multi-channel network and they took half my money. But when I left the multi-channel network and, was really growing, and this is, by the way, the subscriber numbers are the subscribers gained net for the year. So it's growing by this many subscribers every year after gains and losses. So as I grew, revenue and income grew, partly in proportion to views. Then my revenue started growing up without needing to get as many views, so on and so forth. So depends on how your views are valued. I'm in a higher RPM niche, but again, this is nice and all, and this can replace and did replace like what would be a normal job for me, but I made more money, substantially more money off of YouTube than on YouTube. Now, this can vary for people, whether you're entertainers, but even your favorite entertainers on YouTube, they're making most of their money with brand deals, not ad revenue, with the exception of some people whose content doesn't qualify for brand deals. But then you also have people who flat out just get demonetized. And so, oh, sorry, dropped my phone. And so relying on monetization is rough because, well, what if you're demonetized, or what if you're kicked out of the YouTube Partner Program, and you might not think you're doing anything that would get you kicked out, but again, that goalpost can be moved without without any control or you having any input or say. And to some degree, maybe when you're out, you're out. Now, do I think YouTube gets that decision right more than 90% of the time? I absolutely do. What if you're the 1% of the time that they get it wrong, though? And so, again, I think it's justified to be paranoid. A lot of you have been hit with things called the reused content policy, uploading your own content. Or some people have had false copyright claims from trolls or from companies that don't act right. So I think it's a valid, real concern to say that demonetization can happen to almost anybody. And if demonetization can happen to almost anybody, then that means your income, if you're relying on it, can be disrupted without you having any options. That's why I think it's important to diversify those income streams. Template Sounds, thank you for the $10 super chat. Template Sound says, thank you, Roberto. Your free game changed my life. You streamed on being monetized by Skills off platform in 2022 with things like Buy Me a Coffee and Ko-Fi. I left a full-time job and went freelance 11 months ago. Thank you for that. And thank you, Template Sounds. That is dope to hear. And I really think that it's important to make that off-platform revenue. One of the ways you can do that is working for brands on their content, and that's called being a UGC content creator. We'll probably do a whole Monetization Monday at some point dedicated to being a UGC creator and doing user-generated content. And for those of you who need a definition, I'm going to make a video about this, but it's where you basically post for the brands on their social media platform, and you make the content for them and they own the rights to it. So you can think of it as a brand deal, but instead of sponsoring your content, they have you working under their umbrella. You work for them, kind of like a freelance client. You make the content, you publish it on their social media. They get to control it, own the rights to it, make an ad out of it, post it wherever the heck they want. And you just get to be in it, in the content as the talent, and get paid. So it's almost like a freelance gig, very similar to being an extra in a film, or if you've done any modeling work, or if you've done industrials. It's very similar to that if you're familiar with doing acting or modeling on the side, very similar to that. AJ asks, can I use Opus with a children's education channel? Yeah, you can. There's no reason you wouldn't be able to. Kyle K. Fusion says, where are the advertisement opportunities through platforms like Kick? They're still working on their advertising over on Kick.com. Rumble.com is doing some stuff with advertising. And what I think that Kick is also working on some program where, based on number of viewers and making some qualifications, that they'll start paying you hourly for your streams. So I'd encourage people to at least look into that. I'm encouraging multi-streaming. I think that you can make money across multiple streaming platforms, and that you should. I don't believe in being platform dependent. I think you should be platform agnostic. I think you should be on every platform that you like. Like I'm not messing with TikTok, but everybody can do what they want there. Till whichever government shuts them down. It's already banned in India. I digress. I think you should be in the platforms that are willing to pay you. And I don't think you should be loyal to a platform unless a platform gives you an exclusivity contract. If a platform is willing to sign an exclusivity contract, then you can be loyal, but not a minute before. Not a minute before. So I would say be platform agnostic, be a media mercenary, go where your audience is and where they're willing to pay you. So I would be on multiple platforms. And again, I'm streaming to Kick because there's a potential opportunity. And Ink Guy says, Roberto, I got kicked out of the Google AdSense program, but not the YouTube Partner Program. Their system can and does make mistakes. Oh, wow. That's wild. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. Kyle KC Fusion says, yes, Roberto, I'm open to Kick and Rumble. The opportunities to multi-stream on there seem limited, but I'm looking. For me, it's just that there's no extra work in multi-streaming per se. There may be an extra, 5 minutes of setup, but I think it's worth it for the opportunity. And right now, there may not be as many advertisers, they may not be as many monetization methods, but exposure, and if you have enough offline offers, whether it's merchandise or digital products, the offline offers, the other platforms are a funnel. Everyone worries about the on-platform revenue. Oh, does this monetize me? Does this monetize me? Like I said, for me, I'm like, the opportunity to be everywhere is reach. Eventually, if people trust me, then it's taking them off of the platform, to my email list, to my website. That's my leverage. My leverage is getting people on my email list and getting people in my customer database. So I don't care as much. Now, I understand not everyone's in that position. I'm trying to put you in that position. Even if it's for merchandise and you don't sell products like digital templates or courses, even if it's physical products, or you sell bookmarks, or you write a book, and then you write a book, sell bookmarks on top of selling a book. Make posters that go with your book. Make as many physical, tangible items as you can, especially even as an entertainer. Make a coffee brand or something, and take people who can see you anywhere and drive traffic for your product. If you're an older person and you have a service-based business, then it's absolutely imperative for your service, because then you're not worried about monetization ad revenue. You're worried about leads and sales at that point. Even for merchandise, that would be the play. I guarantee you, Logan Paul and KSI are not worried about their AdSense checks anymore. They're worried about how much Prime they can sell. They're worried about how much Prime hydration they can sell. And that might sound unrelatable. I'm just reminding you, the most successful YouTubers do not care about their AdSense anymore. They use it to flex on little kids, because little kids don't understand the concept, and high schoolers and college kids don't understand the concept of selling a product. It's an abstract for them. I want everybody to get into selling their own products. I want everyone to wear their own logos from now on and not rep a brand that's not paying you. You should wear logo-less clothing, and you should only wear the logo of people who are paying you. So that's either your logo or a sponsor's. Okay? I'm willing to wear my merchandise. I'm willing to wear Streamyard's merchandise. I'm willing to wear Kajabi or Opus's merchandise. But why would I have a logo on me and put that in a platform if I'm not being paid? Why would anyone get free advertising from me? So this is something I teach people, is figure out how you're going to market and monetize the effort that you're putting in. If you're streaming, even if you're a gamer, I teach this to the people that I work with who play, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, Brawl Stars, that sort of thing. I tell them all the time, look, if you have to farm footage to edit your videos, you might as well stream while you're doing it. And if you're streaming, you can get ad revenue, super chats, memberships. People can use your creator code. You have 4 or 5 different ways you can monetize and earn money while you're farming content for your edited videos. You have to play the game anyway. You might as well stream and get paid. That way, you're not leaving money on the table and doing free labor. Boom. It's that simple. Same thing with wearing logos. Why are you not being paid? Wear something that either one, if you have the YouTube shopping feature for tagging in their affiliate program, tag any brand that appears in any way, even casually, in your videos, so that you can monetize that. If people are like, oh, I like your hoodie. Oh, I like your jacket. Oh, I like your home decor in your vlogs. Where do you buy those things? Put the affiliate links for Amazon in the description of your videos for your home decor. Put the setup for your computer if you're a gamer. If you're a gamer, put the components and what GPU you're using. Put what widescreen monitor you're using. Put what mechanical keyboard you're using. Put it all in the description. At least some links will get clicked. At least there's some opportunity to monetize that. And you're getting compensated for all the hard work and effort that you're doing at that point. So that's kind of one of those real core principles I believe in terms of a monetization strategy, is that it's not about whether the platform pays you. The opportunity is the content and the relationship with the audience, not the platform. The platform is giving you the opportunity for reach. You can do the rest yourself at that point. So the thing is, it's nice that the platforms are willing to compensate us and share in the revenue that we're bringing them. That's the thing. The accountability from the platforms by sharing revenue, I believe in that. I don't believe in us being dependent or beholden to them. I think we should take as much advantage of the opportunity we're presented as possible. So yeah, Stephen V. Tran, longtime friend of the channel, says, I'm joining the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group this month. Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing you there, man. Appreciate it. Yep, I'm on that live grind. If you guys are not familiar with our schedule, we do Monetization Mondays where we talk about making money as a content creator, going full time, making at least 10K a month. We talk about that on Mondays through different methods. We'll be doing a Monetization Monday all about UGC and working with brands. Even if you're not big, we'll be doing that on one of these Monetization Mondays soon. On Wednesdays, we do Workshop Wednesdays where we focus on skills. We focus on skills that pay the bills. It could be anything from thumbnail workshops so you can get more views. It could be anything from video editing workshops. It could be software. It could be building digital products. So Workshop Wednesdays. And if you guys in the comments and in the live chats tell me what workshops you want for Wednesdays, what training you want, we will do the free trainings on Wednesdays. And then, of course, we have FAQ Fridays where we do analytics deep dives and we answer all your questions about analytics and about audience growth and content strategy and ideation. We're going to try to figure out when we're going to do channel reviews. I know you guys love those. They're great. So we'll figure out channel reviews eventually. So Terrence Wild, keep seeing you on the channel. Appreciate you, man. So Terrence Wild says, question, Roberto, OpusClip has an affiliate program that pays every month, or is it a one-time commission per sign-up? Okay, great. So they're monthly with their affiliate program for the first 12 months. So for the first year, you get those commissions. Contempo Coding. Thank you, Victoria. Another Awesome Creator Academy member here. Victoria says, and don't forget to trademark your logo. I've had 3 issues now with people trying to rip off my merch and was able to slap the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office trademark on them. Yep, you always want to do that. So when you get to a certain point, you want to look into that. There are a lot of sites that kind of rip you off on the trademark thing. I'm not the biggest fan of LegalZoom these days. Usually, you just should go with your Secretary of State government's website for your trademarks, your copyrights, and for building your LLC with your business. I would highly recommend that you use the state website. It's just going to be cheaper in the end. You're going to have to pay state filing fees either way. Terrence in a while says, how do you get the tag shop feature in YouTube? I believe that it's no longer just for channels over 20,000 subscribers. I believe that as long as you're monetized and in the YouTube Partner Program, that you should have access to it. It's possible that's rolling out to more people, but you want to go under the revenue tab and make sure that you enable it in your YouTube monetization. But you should have access to it currently here in 2024. And you don't necessarily need 20,000 subscribers like you used to in 2023. The other thing, the other thing that you have to consider is when you want to do the tags feature, right? Another thing no one will talk about is the fact that you can actually go back into your old videos and you can tag products when you do it. So you can go back and you can tag old videos and you can make quite a bit of money doing that, depending on the videos. Now, some of it is alignment. It's alignment to your audience. It's what they will like. And the thing is, I still believe that you can tag videos with the YouTube affiliate program, but I would still double dip and use the Amazon influencer program. And if for any reason you don't have the YouTube tag shopping feature, just use the Amazon influencer program, sign up for that, and put those links in your description. So that's how I would do that. So Juan has a question. This question seems so long that it's bigger than me in the frame. So Juan Camilo watching over on LinkedIn. This is another reason I multi-stream. So he's over on LinkedIn and he asks, hey, Roberto, just started a channel. I honestly research videos, but I rely heavily on AI tools to make content such as Midjourney and a spice of Runway and Clipchamp for the voiceover. I've reached monetization threshold with one long video and 14 shorts. Oh, congratulations. Nevertheless, YouTube rejected my application to YPP, arguing reused content, even though I made all of it from scratch. I appealed though. What advice would you give to AI creators in relationship to YouTube policies? Well, with regard to that, first of all, you definitely have to make sure you're doing disclosures, especially under the current policies for AI when it comes to YouTube. The other thing I would tell AI content creators is to make sure that they're in their descriptions referencing what is AI and what isn't to some degree, maybe at the bottom of the video, especially for the reviewers for YouTube. Also, I would document your process so that when you make your appeal to YouTube, if you're doing something through the appeal system that you fill out with a form, or if you email or you're in DMs with them, to where you can explain the process similar to what you explained for me of where there was human effort, how you sourced your content, where it came from. Make sure that for music, maybe you use either Epidemic Sound or the YouTube audio library. That's the place where a lot of people trip up, is the audio. And you have something that you could show behind the scenes, maybe an unlisted video of a screen recording of your process where you can show them that you did make this from scratch and it wasn't ripped off from anywhere else. So it's really about documentation. Over in the blog section of the Awesome Creator Academy website, I also break down examples of the reused content policy on YouTube, how the reused content policy works. I can try and look up that link for you now, actually, and see if there's any way I can find that specific thing, because it's an article about the reused content policy, and I explain it. And so I made a little guide for you guys. So what I will do is I will link to that article here, reused content policy guide. And I've done a few other things to explain demonetization and stuff here on the channel. So I have basically made 2 videos that explain the 7 deadly sins of YouTube. I explain the 7 things that will get you demonetized on YouTube. And I explain the 7 things that will get your channel deleted on YouTube. Those videos are here on the channel. I think those videos both got less than 10,000 views. So clearly people aren't scared enough of demonetization, and they're not scared enough of their channel being deleted because less than 10,000 of you watched it. So that is a thing. So I hope that answers your question. At some point, I will dive much more into the AI policies around YouTube, because I know a lot of new creators are heavily relying on AI to make their content. There are people who just don't want to put their face on camera. There are people who are intimidated by the editing tools. It just makes these things a lot easier for them. I am not against AI content creators as long as they're doing the right things and they're within policies. If it's good enough for YouTube's policies, it's good enough for me. If it's not, then we have to evaluate, well, what is good enough, and is YouTube in the right? Are they getting it correct, or are there false positives in their systems? And how do we deal with that? And how do we make sure that we hold them accountable and challenge that when we need to? So for me, I know a lot of people have strong feelings about AI. I accept its inevitability. And the thing is, I think it will help some people. I think there are people who are not physically able to make the content they wish they could. And I don't think they have to be excluded from content creation. Maybe you just have a reason why you can't do something manually. And this allows you to take an idea from your head and bring it to life in the world for people to enjoy it. I don't begrudge someone that ability that didn't have access to it before. I wouldn't want that to be the case for me. So I understand that there are some people who are like, well, I'm threatened by this, or I think it's going to hurt me, or I think it's going to flood the platform with crappy content. I have a piece of like information for you. I have some enlightenment for you. The platform will be oversaturated with crappy content, whether it's AI or not, because that's already happened. It's already happened. 88% of content never gets 1,000 views on YouTube. There's a good reason for it. AI is not going to make that much of a difference in whether I believe that in proportion to however much crappy content we have, we'll actually get some better content along the way. It'll even itself out. I promise you. Besides, nothing AI will make will be as bad as the first 50 videos I ever made. So there. We have Sam Woodall, friend of the channel. What's up, Sam? He says, done that strategy too. I do think that selling a $15 to $50 off-platform product from a 3,000 view video at a 10% click-through rate will be way more beneficial and easier to monetize earlier than AdSense would be. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree. Just want to thank some of our new channel members here. Appreciate all of you. Let's see. Baby Girl Hudson says, question, Roberto. Do you think a female in her 50s is hard to become a successful content creator? I think that in general, it depends on the individual. I do think that people 20 and younger have the single largest advantage there is in being a content creator. And it's a couple of layers, but it's like 5 reasons. There's like 5 reasons that someone in their 20s is the best person to become a content creator. Number 1, in your 20s and teens, you can fail almost infinitely in life and have multiple second, third, and fourth chances. And as long as it's not too bad, the consequences are not necessarily dire per se. So you can screw up a lot, and there's a lot of forgiveness for young people to screw up. You know, there's not a tragedy if you're 20-something years old, sleeping on a mattress, eating ramen, grinding. That's not some tragedy. So, but if you're 50 and you're on a mattress eating ramen and grinding, it is a tragedy. So that's the difference. The difference is a 20-year-old grinding their little heart out, working 50 hours a week and eating ramen. It's not great, but it's not a tragedy because they could win. They could win. So, and they have a long time. And the thing is, if they decide that it's not working, they can grow up and sell out and get a real job. Like if it's not working out, you know, so they have an optionality and they have very little consequences for pivoting at that point. And they have minimal to lose and everything to gain. So that's the advantage of someone in their teens or 20s trying to pursue content creation. The consequences of failure are low, and the rewards for victory are extremely high for that person. If you're in your 50s, the consequences of failure are magnitudes worse. And there's only so much potential for upside. So that's the real world perspective. I'm not going to gas you up. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm also not necessarily a dream killer. I'm just going to be realistic. There are advantages to being in your 30s, 40s, and beyond in terms of experience. Now, this works out better in your 30s, 40s, 50s if you have pretty privilege. If you have pretty privilege, there's no age at which having pretty privilege, if you have it for your age bracket, isn't an advantage. If you're in your 20s and you're a beneficiary of pretty privilege, is better than someone who's just merely smart and in their 20s. And if you're smart and attractive, then it's better than all of that. And if you were smart, attractive, and came from money, then that would be better than all of it. Most YouTubers benefit from something like this. They benefit either from, okay, you can take more risk if you come from money, and failing at YouTube means, hey, mom, dad, things didn't work out. I need to go back to the suburbs to our 6-bedroom house, and I need to figure my life out and maybe go back to college or get a job. Or, hey, dad, can I go work at one of your friend's companies? Can I go work at your friend's factory? Can I go work at the car lot? Like, there are people who that's their reality. Their reality is they can risk it all on YouTube because failure means they go back and mommy and daddy give them a posh, comfortable, upper middle class life anyway. So they can afford to take a punch on the chin and risk it all in content creation and lose. If you are in your 20s and you don't come from that lifestyle and you're working class, lower middle class, lower class, risking it all on YouTube is not as easy for you as that person who came from a more affluent background, let's say, right? So that's an advantage. Now, the interesting thing is 30s and 40s gets interesting because if you don't come as an entertainer and you come as somebody that is an education or lifestyle channel, you can trade on the fact that what you have is worth saying because you've lived it, you have experience, you have real world accomplishments, you may have achieved some level of status, you may have achieved some notoriety, some expertise, a degree, a credential, a claim to fame, something that gives you status, social proof, and credibility. So if you have some level of status, some level of social proof, and you also have, what's another S we can throw in? And you have substance. If you have substance, social proof, and status, then your 30s and 40s can become advantageous. Your 50s becomes harder because you have to prove, are you still relevant? Are you still in the game? And, you know, why aren't you retired yet? Or is this the thing you retired to? If you were so successful from an education standpoint, as an entertainer in your 50s, you're competing with your younger contemporaries who are more relatable to the mass majority of people. The majority of people are going to be younger all the time. There's always going to be younger people than older people. So the younger people have a bigger market that they can relate to. They have a bigger total addressable market. The total addressable market favors you much more 20 to 40 than it does 40 plus. It just does. There's more people under 40 than there are over 40. And you have a higher level of relating to people that are 10 years younger than you or 10 years older than you. So you want the largest total addressable market possible. So the thing is, like, this is the real qualifier. Now, here's the thing. If you were a man in your 50s, I do think that if you were a man in your 50s and you have a male audience, that audience doesn't discriminate against you nearly as much on your age. However, with a female audience, they will bias much more in how closely they feel a relationship or an identity to the person they're watching. So if they can't identify with you because you're much older than them, or if they can't identify you because you're much younger than them, they're less likely to watch you. So it's much more identity focused. Now, with a male audience, yeah, it's less identity focused, interestingly enough, psychologically, and you can look this up, and it'll be much more utility focused. It'll be, what can you do for me, old man? You know, it's like, hey, old man Roberto, what can you do for me? Are you still in the game? Do you still know how to make money? You haven't, back in your day, it didn't cost as much money. Like, do you still know, dude, learn about inflation. You didn't go through this. Oh, we're going through this new AI revolution. You only had to go through the Great Recession. You guys only had to deal with the war in Iraq. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, screw you millennials, blah, blah, blah. You're old and everything. Oh, you're worse than the boomers. Like, so it's more about, well, no, young person, here you go. Here's all the utility I have. And hey, I keep on top of this stuff. I know the stats. I know all the things. I know exactly what you're going to. Hey, here's how I relate on it. Here's how I help someone your age. So it'd be utility. Utility works. So again, it depends on who your audience is. If your audience is majority female, then the thing is, they need to feel a connection to you emotionally. They need to relate to you in identity. And so the thing is, there's a smaller total addressable market of people 10 years younger and 10 years older than you for you to pull from, because that's about the range that you'd be looking at in terms of relatability. It's very hard for us to relate to anybody that's not at least 10 years younger, the same age, or 10 years older. Once you get past those boundaries, it's very hard for people to relate or identify with another person in general, right? But in particular, that'd be a stronger component. Identifying with, relating to, emotionally connecting to, that's a stronger desire and need for a female audience by far. And it has to also do with trust and intuition, right? Now, with regard to that, it's a smaller total addressable market than if you're in your 20s, you can still pull a teenage audience. If you're in your 30s, you can still pull young adults to adult, and then also a little bit older. So you have like a broader range there. You have a larger total addressable market. And then even, with all the issues in the world, there's still going to be an overwhelming amount of younger people than older people, new people every day. You know, people are born every day, people die every day. So the thing is, just based on the math, you'd have a larger total addressable market catering to young people. Now, to a degree, I have a similar issue in the sense that I'm turning 40 this year. I don't really relate as much to the younger end of Gen Z. The older part of Gen Z is aging into my content. And I am a millennial, I'm an elder millennial. So the thing is, interestingly, because I'm a utility-based channel, Gen X, boomers, still rock with me. In fact, they hold it down. I get more Gen X and more boomers than I do Gen Z. I get more Gen X and boomers than Gen Z. My core audience is also my own demographic, millennials. So the thing is, your easiest market is always your own demographic. Then it's people aspiring to that. They're just a little below that can get value from you or relate to you because they know they're aging into your market, but not by that much. And then there's people who remember what it's like to be like you or want to recapture that feeling or live vicariously through you. So the thing is, you're 10 to 15 up, 10 to 15 down. Always. It's always that. It's roughly that. It's your own age bracket. And then, 5, 10, 15 down, 5, 10, 15 up. But the thing is, the older you get, it stops being 15 and becomes much more 10. And it kind of levels out there. And then in the extreme, then it becomes 5 to 10. In the extreme. So that's just how it tends to be. Now, I'm not saying it has to be that way for you. It really depends. And at that stage, entertainment is not as easy a play as education or lifestyle because experience becomes the sales pitch of value. And then experience can be valuable enough versus to some degree relatability, but it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And anyone who's ever had to talk to younger siblings or to their children knows how hard that gap in understanding per decade is to overcome. It's very hard to overcome that gap in understanding. My relationship improved with my brother, who's 10 years younger than me, once he turned 30 or was on his way. Once he hit about 25, I would say. But now that he's 30 this month, best it's ever been because gets it now. He gets it. So younger, you can look up to, admire, blah, 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 with a 10-year gap, but not understand or not respect it. But then you get a little older, that 10-year gap is, okay, I want to be you now. I aspire to this. I can relate. I can understand. And then also some people 10 years older than you can still learn from you because you're still in the game and you're still with it. And you're like, okay, and what can, so it's that kind of thing. So a lot of this plays back to what I used to say a lot about psychology, that tactics are for amateurs, strategy is for professionals, and psychology is for masters. And so when you understand the psychology of your audience, and you understand your audience avatar, and you understand what are their challenges, what are their preferences, what are their biases, what are their values, what are their priorities. When you get into the psychographics and not just the demographics, then it really gets interesting. You start to understand your audience. So the thing is, what makes this harder for you is the proclivities of the target audience and the size of your total addressable market. And I'm going to be realistic with you. For content creation, it becomes inherently harder to some degrees as you get older, just based on risk tolerance alone, reputational value and damage. You can risk your reputation and gamble your reputation in your 20s. Because by the time you're in your 30s, no one remembers or cares, or bringing it up becomes kind of inappropriate at a certain point. Definitely by the time you're 35, 40, no one really cares what you did at 20. But, damaging your reputation again at 40 or 50 has higher consequences. So there's maybe more consequences to be a public figure the older you get, because now you have family, you have responsibilities, you have a career, you have mortgages, you have all these things. So again, when you're 20, you can tolerate more risk. That makes it theoretically easier in some ways, but you have less experience. When you're older, you have more experience, but you have much lower tolerance for risk. You value stability a lot more. You want less chaos in your life. So again, it's a long-winded way of saying, yeah, sure, it's harder in a lot of ways. There are advantages. There are things. Maybe you have more money and resources to pour into it in 50 than you do at 20. But does that balance out other things like risk, energy, the capacity to learn things more quickly? You might be more adaptable and able to change in your 20s and grow into a person who's more adaptable to what they have to do to be successful in your 60s and 50s. You become a little bit more, oh, this is how I am. I'm not going to change. So again, I know it's a long-winded answer, but I hope it gives you some insight. Ask the Teen 85 says, hey, Roberto, have you seen Hey Jen? You can literally create your own AI avatar and have them do your content for you if you don't want to film yourself. I've seen it. It's interesting. I think that there are some concerns and implications that I need to look into with that. I want to talk to Matt Wolf about it and see what his thoughts are specific to the good sides, bad sides, pros and cons, and can people tell if you replaced yourself? I think it'll be interesting. You might have to, if you want to run an experiment replacing yourself to see if people can tell the difference, it might be interesting to run that experiment on a YouTube channel and then figure out whether anyone could tell the difference or not. That'd be interesting. I wonder if an AI can perform a live stream and if people could, figure out if AI can perform a live stream and seem like it's accurate to the live stream. And the way you'd probably pull that off would have some AIs interact with the AI in a way that then makes it seem like there's like true interaction happening and that some other people are just being ignored, but some people aren't. So like, I think that the way you'd pull off an AI in a live stream is that it'd interact with other AIs and then it would seem organic. And then some people would just be like, oh, I guess I'm just being ignored in particular or something. Yeah. Malevolent Elephant, friend of the channel, says, Roberto told me this years ago and I didn't listen. I've been stubborn and too comfortable. With that, you mean relying on AdSense and not diversifying. For your channel, I also understand where you're coming from. My answer for someone who's kind of stuck in a channel where they absolutely are more dependent on AdSense and ad revenue, someone more dependent like that, their answer for me is usually, okay, if you're kind of stuck there, start another channel. You can keep going with this other channel. Start a channel that is more monetizable, has more options, has a better ad rate, all the things. Coin says, I just launched a store the other day under 600 subs. I don't think there's point in waiting. I'm not saying waiting. I'm saying that people have limited time, limited energy, limited focus. And they also, again, I think a lot of people aren't qualified. And I think that if you're struggling to get attention, tell me, if you're struggling to get attention, how are you supposed to get sales? It's a valid question. Now, I think if someone's goal was build an online business, then it's different. Because if you build an online business, you can pay for influencer marketing. You can buy people's attention through an influencer. You can do online advertising. I don't think everyone has to build an audience and everyone has to be a content creator. If you want to build a store, a product, an online business, you could always get affiliate marketing going and get influencers to get a commission. You could always pay for sponsorship and influencer marketing outright. And you can always buy ads. You can always buy ads. So you could always buy traffic if you have a good product, you have a good service, you have a good online business, you have a good brick and mortar business. You don't have to necessarily create organic content. You can just buy traffic to get attention and then stand on the reviews of your product and the sales of your product after the fact. That's a legitimate strategy that's existed longer than YouTube's existed. Okay, so that's fine. That's what the Google AdWords program, the Google Ads program, that's why it existed and why YouTube revenue even exists, is because advertisers were already buying advertising with Google. And then before that, DoubleClick, which Google acquired later, just like they acquired YouTube. So that being said, if your goal is to build an online business, then I don't care if you have an audience or not. If your goal is to build an online business, I don't care if you have an audience, because there are strategies that don't require you to have an audience. You just need traffic. That being said, if you want to be a personal brand, a content creator full-time, any of those things, the audience comes first. You have to prioritize the audience. And the thing is, if you're distracting yourself too much from that goal And I'm not saying not to build the foundations of these other revenue streams or build the merch store or doing those things. I am telling you, though, that if you're distracting yourself and you don't even have a couple thousand followers or subscribers, and you're like, oh, let me look at brand deals. Let me look at this thing. Let me look at that thing. If you're too distracted from that, then you'll never have the audience that can buy and build trust and support any of it in the first place. So the audience must come first. At least a minimum viable community must be built. We must build a minimum viable community and then prove ourselves and build trust within that community before any other thing can happen. Excuse me. Wrong pipe. Yeah. My friend Sam Woodall says, realized I should have been monetizing my audience in the right way a long time ago. Saw so many creators who struggle because they have strong opinions around money, like they can't have it. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's a very high chance that a creator is going to be doing more right by an audience than most companies and corporations are, and yet have the most hangups about selling anything. Just deliver a good experience, a good product. Excuse me. Wrong pipe. Absolutely the wrong pipe. And so, yeah, absolutely. It's fine to monetize your audience as long as you're creating and delivering on value. Let's see. I'm searching through the questions. I'm getting caught up on the main ones here. It's Jasmine Sis says that makes sense. Thank you. I'm an Amazon influencer. Currently, I have merchandise, users, shoppers tabs. I'm going to start doing more lives weekly. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I know we have some more questions here. Oh, how's it going, Chelsea? We have a super chat from our good friend Clover Tack, who has a Second Amendment and firearms channel. Clover says, hey, Roberto, late to the party. Thanks for all you do to help others. Once I broke the money code, it was super easy. Thanks. Stay positive, folks, and listen to Roberto. Thank you, Clover. I appreciate you. Always such a good guy. Lovely Samira says, good evening, Roberto. Been watching you since you were doing the graphic design content. Absolutely. When I was doing my freelance and graphic design content, you guys have to remember, I did not grow to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube doing YouTube help content. In fact, I grew off of my freelance content around being a freelancer, doing tutorials, finding clients, doing freelance video editing, photography, and graphic design. Because I had a background in visual arts. So I used those things to make money. I made content about, okay, this is how I got a job doing this. This is how I went my own way, left the job, got my clients, started making money on my own. Here's how you do it, and so on and so forth. Then I got all these questions along the way about, wow, your YouTube channel is growing so fast. Well, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I'll make a video answering that question. I'm not going to answer the same question 100 times when I can make a video. So and that's how that got started. And so then it was like, oh, well, now the thing I'm doing in my career is not freelancing, it's content creation. So let me talk about that. So I just basically at any given point, if what I'm doing in my career is how I'm making money and how I'm building my skills, I basically just talk about it for a living. And so at the moment, that's revolving around content creation. Marcel Clark says, Roberto, you mentioned in one of your shows that if you have money to grow your show, you have advantages. Can you share with me the top 3 things to do if you have the money to invest in a show?
So yeah, if you happen to have money as a content creator to invest back into your show, your content, your programming, I would tell you that for a lot of you, invest in the talent of other people. So that means hiring a team. So for a lot of you, that starts with a personal assistant that can help with managing admin work, keep you accountable, keep you on schedule, maybe help with coordination with brands. So a personal assistant would go a long way. Then for a lot of you, your biggest bottleneck is video editing. Hire a video editor. A lot of you, you're not getting views because you suck at Photoshop, frankly. So you suck at Photoshop. And you need to hire a thumbnail artist, graphic designer. So those three people are most people's hires is getting personal assistant so that they have someone to clone themselves and help with any other task they do, then a video editor, and then a digital artist or graphic artist for their thumbnails, typically with a YouTube channel. And so those three things probably buy you back the most time. That time goes back into ideation and stuff like that. Then the next thing is, besides that, you want tools that make your job easier, faster, improve the quality. So tools and tech include better microphones, better lights, better cameras, all the things, being able to do that with certainty. Like I bought a Shure SM7B microphone. I use the Sony cameras. I have the camera switcher. I have those things. You guys love my lighting, so I have that going on. So lights, camera, audio, in terms of investing in a lot of your tools, software as well, but also training. Maybe you need training in your software. Maybe you need training in your hardware. Maybe you need training in your content strategy or in your business strategy. If you ever do, hire me. I'm your boy. Go to awesomecreatoracademy.com to learn to work with me. So I would say that the best investments as a content creator are ultimately talent, tools, and training. Talent, tools, and training. This is also true for any small business endeavor in general, and I consider content creation to be one of the best small businesses you can build in America today. And so it's talent because you want other people's time and talent. It's tools to make the work go faster, easier, better. So easier, faster, better. So that helps with quality, consistency, and confidence a lot. And then training. Training makes you more effective, more efficient, and you can get training a lot of things. One of the things that I do when people work with me, we're not usually always talking about how they get views. Sometimes we do come up with their ideas and come up with idea generation and content strategies and their content pillars. A lot of times it's, all right, what monetization opportunities am I leaving on the table? How do I scale the monetization? What am I not doing? What is my brand deals really worth? How do I build my media kit? Why does my media kit suck? What is it going on? How do I negotiate the brand deal? So a lot of it can be monetization based. Some of it is, hey, Roberto, how do I begin the process of hiring my team? Who am I hiring? Here's all the layout. Here's the background. Here's where do I find people? Can you recommend anyone? What do I do here? Oh, I hired people. How do I fire them? I have this person that's not working out, and how do I protect myself? And what are those things? What are the operations? Hey, what do we do for onboarding? Hey, did I do this right? So a lot of it is operations, and a lot of it is managing the team and setting the protocols. A lot of that becomes some of what we do when we coach. Other times it's the monetization stuff, brand deals, affiliate marketing, how to build and set up merch, how to find a graphic designer, how to do this, how to do that. What's my checklist for this freelance editor that I'm vetting? Or can you recommend someone better? Or what should I look for in someone? It could be any number of things. Oh, you know what? Hey, I need to start a podcast. Hey, I got asked to public speak at events and I don't know what I should charge. Is this too much? Is this too little? Is it $3,000? Is it $5,000? Why? Do I need to make packages? Do I need a press kit? There's any number of things that you could get training on, whether it's from me or other people. One of the things I did was I went to St. Louis to Shutterfest, which my friend Sal Sincata runs that event. And I went there to go and master flash photography and lighting. I went there to go and master flash photography and lighting. And it was great. It was a wonderful experience because the thing that's different is I got to get hands-on with the camera and lighting manufacturers, ask questions, borrow any gear I want during the event, and shoot with models during the event and do photography. If you were going to be a freelance photographer, you could go and walk in there with no portfolio and walk out with a full portfolio by the end of the weekend. So $300 for a physical in-person workshop was great. So, but you do have to pay more for the flight, the hotel. So it is like maybe an $800 investment that someone makes over a 3-4 day event. Like it's 3 days for the event, but you need a fourth day for travel, really, if you want to do it right. So, I mean, that's not cheap, right? But the thing is, you're going to be shooting content theoretically all year round. So if you spread out the expense and you think, oh, I'm going to be shooting 12 months in a row, and I'm going to have to buy a camera and lenses and flashes and batteries, so I might as well use them properly, spending $800 to go and do an in-person workshop and train and come out after 2 or 3 days is worth it to improve the quality of everything you're doing for the entire year. Even people who've worked with me, they were like, oh yeah, I became more efficient in my workflow and my stuff, and I ended up saving like another 5-10 hours a week. That was totally worth it for me. Like, so you figure these things out. And I would tell you guys, a lot more of you should find in-person workshops. A lot of you should find in-person events to go to and get physical training on skills you don't have, especially with your hardware. A lot of you are buying expensive cameras and lights and don't know how to use them well, and not getting the results that you could be getting or that you would want out of them. So I would always say that when investing into your channel, I would say for a lot of you, the first investment is actually going to be tools. So a lot of times it is going to be getting a better microphone, getting better lighting, maybe sometimes better software for the editing to make that faster or better or have more options, plugins, all those things. So a lot of times I'm the gear guy. I like buying the tools. I like buying gadgets. So for me, it's things like that. I mean, look at me. I got the camera switcher and I got all that stuff. So I'm definitely the guy who goes, okay, first thing I'm investing in is tools. The next thing I'm a big fan is I'm a nerd. I like learning. So I buy books. I buy digital courses. I go to physical in-person workshops. I go to conferences. So I'll do those things. So I'll do training because then I feel just personally more equipped. And then in a lot of cases, I'll get training for my tools. I'll get training in my tools a lot of times, in my software and hardware specifically. When I was a freelancer, especially with the graphic design thing, one of the things I did was I tried to do the trainings they have for like Adobe stuff. So I would go to workshops for the Adobe stuff and I would learn that. And I believe back in the day, I had what they called the ACE certifications back in the day. They don't really do that anymore. So you do that. Now, not every training you do you have to get a certification, but if you're doing anything in either the trades or in certain softwares, I got a HubSpot marketing certification back in the day, back when freelancers, if you guys remember Odesk, I was Odesk certified in multiple things back in the day when Odesk, back in my day. So I got every Odesk certification back then that I could for all the software that I used. So the thing is, a lot of times you'll want to look at training. Now, not everything has to offer a certification, but if you can get a certification, it can go a long way toward helping you with other opportunities sometimes. So I would take advantage of that. And then there's talent. There's other people's time. Like me, I hired family members. Now, I hired them into my coaching business, Awesome Creator Academy, instead of helping with the content. But my brother is actually going to start helping with the content, and then we'll go back to edited videos, and he'll start helping with some more of that. So I hired family for me. I do have another team member in the coaching business, Andy. She's great. And she's out of New York, so she's remote, but mostly I like in person. Mostly I like local, but mostly I'm the kind of guy, keep it in the family, friends and family business. Not everyone does that. Not everyone believes those things mix. I think it can happen if you have the right temperament for it. But like I said, tools of your trade, training in the things that you need to overcome your weaknesses or develop skills, and then the talent and time of other people. Hire freelancers, hire part-timers, and eventually hire full-timers when you can. Those are the 3 things that you can use money as a tool for that will probably optimize the best outcome for your content creation, your YouTube channel, or your online business. Your tools, training, and talent. If you get that and you square those things away, things can improve. And the best part is tools get you more time, usually if they're efficiency. Like software makes you faster, hardware makes you faster, so you get time back. Time means the quality of your content and the quality of your products improve because you're more thoughtful, more intentional about everything. Then when you get training, you're also more intentional, more thoughtful, your workflow, your process. All of a sudden, 10 hours of editing can become 5 hours of editing with the right workflow, or with the right software plugins or the right tools. or the right software, switch to the right software or hardware. So then that buys back time. And then other people's talent also buys back time. And the thing is, every single one of these things, in addition to buying back time, also improves the quality of the product, the quality of the video, the audio, everything, whatever it is. So that's why you want to invest in those. I hope that answers your question. As long-winded as that answer is, I hope it is a complete answer that you all can learn from and that you could take to heart. Mr. Urban World says, Roberto, I see a lot of older people doing well on YouTube these days more than ever, but they have unique niches. I agree. I'm the person who's advocating for people over 30 more than anybody. I think it'll be unique niches. I think it'll be career development. I think it'll be lifestyle. I think it'll be inspiration. I think it'll be a lot of those things. And I think that they'll have a lot to say that they can prove, because I think it's easier to have social status at 30 plus. I think social status and social proof will matter more, especially with AI. I think IRL content will take over. And I think it's easier to have social status and social proof at 30 and 40 than it is at 20. And I believe that social status and social proof will be extremely important in the world of content creation going forward. Not just, and I don't think it's just going to be for thought leaders. I think for influencers to some degree too, because I just think that even with young people, they're going to want to watch people that they are going to be one day or that they can look up to more than people their own age doing goofy things to some degree. Now, for some of it, yes, there will always be a market for watching young, goofy people do young, goofy things or whatever. But I think there's going to be a greater desire, especially with the financial stuff, the economy. People are going to try to figure out how to survive, how to live life. So the thing is, a bunch of people in their 20s are going to watch people in their 30s and 40s if they're doing prepper, doomsday prepper. Like, I can see someone depressed and nihilistic in their 20s watching a 40, 50-year-old grizzled person being a doomsday prepper, loading up the canned food, doing like, oh yeah, I can see it. I can see it. So it's like, hey, prepper channels, rejoice. This economy, you're going to start eating. Like, it's great. So always a silver lining, right? Always a silver lining. So I can see it. I can see it happening really easily. So there's also people who are optimistic, who are going to look at career development and want to look at people in their 30s and 40s and know how to get onboarded into their career. And there's people who's going to be like, hey, I'm going to pick a safe career. I want to know how to do it, so on and so forth. That's why, Contempo Coding is one of my students in Awesome Creator Academy. She just got a silver play button, 100,000 plus subscribers, killing it, because she's onboarding people into medical coding as a profession and helping them prepare for their certifications. And so career development onboarding is something that people in their 30s and 40s are going to thrive in. Absolutely. So I absolutely see older people with an opportunity, especially if they spent the time to spend a decade developing their skills and building social proof. That's it. So it's going to be skills, status, social proof. It's going to be skills, status, and social proof. I'm going to make a graphic for this. You know me, I love making these graphics, right? So the thing that's going to make you money and the thing that's going to set you apart is skills, status, and social proof. Those things will matter. There's a 70-year-old bodybuilder with the body of a 20-year-old. Yeah, well, he has social proof in the fact that he has, I'm a 70-year-old with that body. That's social proof, right? Oh, I'm a bodybuilder. Oh, that conveys status. And then he has the skills and knowledge to have achieved those results. Boom. There you go. Hunting Wisdom says, question, is it possible to upload too often? Thank you. For YouTube Shorts, too often would be if you do more than 10 YouTube shorts a day. I don't think you can upload too often. It depends on what you're doing and what the demand is. I think it's, I want to say Law and Crime channel. I want to say the channel I'm thinking of is Law and Crime. I think that Law and Crime as a YouTube channel uploads 20 times a day, and they are killing it. They are killing it. And they also, because of their niche, make
money hand over fist. I'm almost positive that if I do the calculations, yeah, it's Law and Crime Network. Law and Crime Network, I believe, has 5 point, wait, is it 5.7 or is it 7 million subscribers? Law and Crime Network has 5.7 million subscribers. So let's look at this. Yeah, Law and Crime Network has 5.7 million subscribers. They've probably uploaded 20 videos today. Let's find out, shall we? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And look at these views. So if you're what, oh, Roberto, can we upload to, oh, I think I'm going to burn out my subscribers. Oh, I think I'm uploading too many times a day. Well, let's look at this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they upload like 10 times a day, right? They upload like 8 to 10 times a day. So Law and Crime Network uploads 8 to 10 times a day. Their content is ridiculously evergreen. People watch these things about whatever the latest and greatest scandals or crimes or celebrity, whatever is. Some of the things, and some of the things don't perform, but it doesn't matter. Some people will care about some stories. People will care about other stories. And as a result, they get an absurd amount of daily views, an absurd amount. And yeah. So I believe that Law and Crime, if I were to guess, they make probably between 100,000 and 200,000 in ad revenue every single month. Those are my projections. Now, I could be wrong. They could be making more. They could be making less. There's no way in hell they're making less than 50,000 in ad revenue a month, but my projections are 100,000 to 200,000 a month, which makes them an over $1 million a year AdSense channel. They're posting 8 times a day, but you can see how that would work out for them as a strategy. Now, I'm not telling you to upload 8 times a day. I'm just saying that for me, it answers the question. I look at these things and I just find there are channels that can upload. Now, again, a lot of people will sit there. And again, my best growth was when I uploaded once a day. My best growth on my channel is when I upload once a day. If I were uploading once a day, every day, and maintaining my quality, not falling off in quality at all, if I were uploading once a day, not streaming, but uploading regular YouTube videos, that's still the best way to go. If I were uploading regular YouTube videos of equal quality and they were 12 to 20 minute long videos based on my best performing videos, I would probably not only gain 100 to 150,000 subscribers this year, I would probably go to making about 10,000 to 15,000 in ad revenue every month. Okay, so why aren't you doing that, Roberto? One, maintaining the quality is the key component of that. Maintaining the quality means 5 to 10 hours of editing at a minimum per every video, which is why that needs to become somebody else's job, someone else's problem. And we'd have to get down to 5 hours to be reasonable and to make room for other things. So the thing is, I'd have to get my brother or someone up to being able to edit in 5 hours or less, not lose any quality, still get my approval on stuff, batch it up and get a week ahead for that to work. And then just keep uploading every day if we were going to do that. And so, as you can guess, that's not necessarily the most reasonable or easy thing to accomplish. So, for 5 to 10 hours to maintain quality in editing the videos, we can't necessarily sustain daily and do everything else that makes more money outside of ad revenue, which is why I determined that the ad revenue wasn't the most valuable thing to prioritize from a monetization standpoint, because the time, effort, dollar ratio was not appropriate for that from an effort standpoint, nor did I really aggressively feel the need to publish at that cadence anymore. So my long and short of it is, every piece of data that I found says that there's no such thing as publishing too often if there's demand in the market. Most of you just need to figure out how your niche works,
how your audience works, and most of your choices need to revolve around how much time in a day do you have? How much time in a day or a week do you realistically have to devote to content? Most of you are working class content creators, so that's 10 to 20 hours a week. Some of you are over editing, and some of you shouldn't be spending 10 hours per video. You should make lower quality videos and take 4 to 5 hours and upload twice a week consistently and spend more time on thumbnails and ideation, and then your results would improve. Y'all, some of you, your results are not improving because you're spending 5 to 10 hours editing when you should probably spend 2 to 5 hours editing and spend much more time on your thumbnails, your titles, and your overall packaging and ideas. And then you'd see more views and better results because your editing is not the problem. Some of you are making your editing the problem, and you're looking up to big YouTubers who edit way too much. They have teams working 40 hours a week on one video. Why are you trying to meet their standards? That's the problem with these big YouTubers who keep saying quality over quantity. It's easy to say quality over quantity when you're a YouTuber who's full-time and can work 50, 40 hours a week because you're full-time and you're in your 20s, you have all the energy, all the stamina, and all the heart in the world, and you have no other issues. Like, oh yeah, you can say quality over quantity. Oh, you're a big YouTuber. You have a team. You have 2, 3 people who can work 40, 50 hours a week. Yeah, you can say quality over quantity then. A working class creator can't entertain quality over quantity. Just because some big YouTuber only wants to see banger videos in their feed doesn't have any bearing on what a small YouTuber who's a working class content creator should be thinking about or should be doing. What a small content creator who's a working class creator who works 40 hours a week, probably has a family, should only be spending 2 to 5 hours editing a video and should be focused on never missing a week of uploads and getting at least 1 video out a week, but ideally 2 videos out a week, to cut the learning curve, not to grow, but to cut the learning curve on improving is why you want to put out 2 videos a week, because you can learn faster that way. Editing efficiently at 2 to 5 hours will also make you a faster editor, make you kill your darlings, but then you need to free up that time to spend more time learning Photoshop and learning the thumbnails, learning to pose for the thumbnails, taking the photos, doing whatever it is you need to do, and writing the titles and headlines. You have no capacity to learn more about how to do these things and to get your skill level up, or to do things outside of the YouTube channel that improve the social proof that you can bring to the YouTube channel, or to elevate your overall status. You need time outside of editing to accomplish all of those things. So you're spending too much time editing, not enough time researching, not enough time building social proof, not enough time building skills, not enough time acquiring status in order to elevate the value proposition of your channel and value that you deliver for the viewer, and value will drive views. So the thing is that value proposition becomes important. You also will learn the skills that will let you scale, because then you can be multi-platform and you can get more out of the same content if you can be multi-platform. You won't know how to do that and how to scale if all of your energy and time is only spent on editing. So people are over editing and it's killing their YouTube channels. Actually, that's a good idea for a video to make. That's a great idea for a video to make. So yeah, I think that a lot of you, your biggest problem is you're editing too much. A lot of you are too superstitious about YouTube, and it's fine to ask these questions. No, can I upload too much? Can I upload too little? The optimal answer is, in a perfect world, here's what you would do. In a perfect world, you'd be able to upload 2 to 3 regular YouTube videos a week between 8 to 16 minutes long. Why 8 to 16 minutes long? Mid-roll ads that would make you more money. So you need 8-minute videos to qualify for mid-roll ads. The acceptable amount of ads can increase and double if the videos are 16 minutes in length versus 8 minutes in length. So you literally can double your monetization by making 16-minute videos instead of 8-minute videos. However, sometimes all you can do is make an 8-minute video. So a balance of having 3 videos a week, 2 to 3 videos a week, ideally 3, where you could have 8 to 16-minute videos so that you can maximize the monetization from the ad revenue would be ideal for an upload cadence. However, I would also tell you, in a perfect world where you're uploading 3 videos a week, you'd also be uploading 3 YouTube shorts if your content allows for it per day, not joking, in a perfect world, to maximize your surface area and reach.
You would not be linking those people from the short form to long form videos on YouTube. That wouldn't be your goal. You'd be linking them to your other short form videos and getting them to binge watch 3 to 5 short form videos at a time. Why? 1, better engagement signal to YouTube if you're doing that. Number 2, shorts viewers want to watch shorts. When they're watching shorts, they don't want to move to long form. That is interrupting them. Give them more of that if they want. Number 2, if you get them to watch 3 to 5 shorts to completion, it is the same as if they went ahead and watched a long form video, because most long form viewers on average watch 3 to 5 minutes of content except for live streams. So you might as well get them to binge watch 3 to 5 shorts if they're in the shorts feed anyway. So in an ideal world, you upload 3. This is not what I'm telling you to do. I'm saying if the world is perfect for you, where you have help, you have a team, you're full time, 3 shorts a day, 3 regular videos a week, and ideally 1 live stream with your community per week. If you could do that in a perfect world, you are, in my mind, perfectly balanced and optimized for YouTube, and it's not even close. And at that point, you're basically putting out across YouTube. At that point, at 3 a day on that side, let's see, 30 days, you're basically making 100 pieces of content a week at that point. And then here's the perfect catch for all of this, by the way. And now for the rest of your platforms to be multi-platform to make money, those 3 shorts you were making also get to be published to Snapchat. They get to be published to Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok if you mess with TikTok, and x.com/Twitter, in addition to YouTube Shorts. So now those 90 YouTube Shorts you made, oh snap, you get to 5x that across 5 platforms you could monetize on. Oh snap. And any of those videos could blow up and go viral. So you're shooting 100 shots, and you're then shooting those shots 5 times for free and getting potentially monetized and potential reach and potential virality. And that's just off the shorts. Then you also can syndicate your long form content. If these 2 to 3 videos you're making every week, if they're evergreen videos, instead of being videos that are trendy or timely, if they're evergreen content, you can syndicate them if you don't make them dated a week, 2 weeks, a month later after you feel they got their views on YouTube. That's not going to hurt you. And you can syndicate them in any platform that will pay you. Boom. Then on top of all of this, when you live stream once a week with your community, you can multi-stream in every platform, get donations and revenue from every platform, get reach and exposure in every platform, have the affiliate links in every platform. And then you can still use OpusClip, get AI clips made for you of every one of those live streams that you did with your community. And then you could repurpose the short form to that to a clips channel you monetize on YouTube, spread those clips, widescreen clips, across all of your other platforms anyway that monetize you that will take widescreen. And then you could still make vertical short form out of all those live stream clips that's unique to the other clips. That's not counting the 3 shorts you were doing in a week. And again, this is where having a team would be helpful. And then you can distribute that in multiple platforms every single month. And so all of a sudden, you have all these different monetization streams, and that's just platform revenue. That's not counting anything else yet. That's not even counting anything else. And it's insane. And that's mostly through automation at this point, as long as you're able to make the content, edit the content. And again, you might want help with that and distribution with a team. But yeah, in a perfect world, and by the way, there are YouTubers you see doing this right now. So in a perfect world, you do that. Oh, wait, there's more. If you were multi-streaming the live streams, and if it's something that would fit for a podcast-like format, you can strip the audio if you're using something like Streamyard. Link in the description down below. Thanks to our sponsor, Streamyard. Thanks to our sponsor, OpusClip. And you can know, I could take the audio, strip out the audio, run it through some AI cleanup, like the Adobe Podcast Audio Enhancer. And then, I can use AI and do all this magical editing for it not have to work and agonize over for hours, distribute the audio on a podcast platform, and then it goes out to Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube Podcast app, iHeartRadio, all the places, and then you're syndicating there. Some of them you can figure out how you might get ad revenue out of the podcasting, but mostly you would use it to push your own products and your affiliate links and to get sponsors and use your download numbers to get sponsors. And so all of a sudden you got this extra revenue stream there and boom. Wild. So in a perfect world, that's the upload frequency. In a perfect world, that's the upload cadence. In a perfect world, that's the distribution model. And in a perfect world, that reach is not just about you getting monetized on all these platforms. In a perfect world, you're smart and you're kind of inserting a plug for yourself to your own membership website that you own. If you're an educator, that's going to be Kajabi. And so you could be doing that. If you're an entertainer, you're plugging your merchandise. You're plugging your hats, t-shirts, hoodies, posters, and you're getting sales off of that, right? So your cash flow there. If you have an education thing, you're selling a digital product, you're selling a digital course, you're selling a monthly subscription, you're selling an ebook, an audiobook, a print book if you're a thought leader. You do the live stream, you get multiple sponsors like I do for the live stream. You double dip on that as a podcast, you get multiple sponsor plugs for that, and you bundle it together. You do all of that. And every link in every single one of these pieces of content, every link drives someone to your affiliate links, your membership website, your digital products, your merchant physical products, or even to your own email list. And you grow your own email list. You can get sponsors for your email list. If you're on ConvertKit, which I've linked in the description below, it's my affiliate link. ConvertKit now has ad revenue too. If you're so worried about ad revenue and you never had any incentive to have an email list, you can get sponsors for your email list, put affiliate links in your email list, drive membership through your email list. But if you care about ad revenue, you now have ad revenue built into your email list with ConvertKit ads. So ad revenue sharing is on ConvertKit, and theirs is basically a 75-25 split. That's how it works out. It's a 75-25 split. So you get 75, by the way, they get the 25. So it's kind of close to the YouTube memberships or the super chats on that side. And ConvertKit also has a tip jar feature, so it also can let you just take donations, which is basically like a super chat. And I believe on the tip jar donations, you get 90% of the revenue on that. So yeah, so you can monetize your email list multiple ways on top of all of this. You can use all this reach and spread from repurposing content and having a crazy cadence to accomplish that. So again, in a perfect world, that is the model that you'd be using. In a perfect world, you're putting out that much unique content. And I stress the word unique. So again, I know that's wild for people to imagine. Now, here's the thing. Is that what I would suggest for a working class creator right this minute to be thinking about? No, not at all. If you're a working class creator, like I said, you should be uploading 1 to 2 videos a week if you can. And you should be spending, it's probably going to take you 5 to 10 hours to edit. You probably only have 10 hours to 20 hours of free time a week. I would try to reduce your editing workflow to 2 to 5 hours and get fast and efficient at your editing workflow and your editing software. Free up more time spending on ideation, script writing, and headlines and thumbnails and packaging, basically. And then I would be focused on that and getting out well-packaged videos. I'd prioritize well-packaged videos over optimally edited videos. Instead of over-editing, I would optimize my packaging. I would perfect my packaging instead of over editing. And I'd also work on presentation and personality. Yes, if you have experience and the status of your credential, like being a paramedic, being a doctor, being a lawyer, the age ceiling is not as bad. It becomes complementary to you. Like I've always said, the advantage that older people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s are going to have is the status that goes with their credentials. So credentialism is a thing. So I believe that grants status, that grants social proof and undeniable skill. So the market is there. You just have to say, what is the total addressable market for my profession? And then also work on how I can get attention. So the thing is, It does depend on the subject matter. So for utility, we will watch older people for utility based on skill, status, social proof. Not the same for entertainers, though. Yes, Frankie over 50, friend of the channel. Older person here, I have one channel with over 30K and just started a blog channel. It's possible. It is absolutely possible in your 50s and 60s to be successful in YouTube. You have to position to make it a strength and not a weakness. You have to position it as a value proposition rather than a vulnerability. And yeah, Mr. Urban World says, I watch older people when it comes to health if they are in excellent shape, life advice, tutorials, and jewelers, because I'm in the jewelry industry, home theaters, and arcades. Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. That's why I say lifestyle content can be better when you're older. Lifestyle content can be better when you're older because you might have more things. You might have a better lifestyle, more travel, more luxury items, bigger house, successful kids. And so those things become both social proof and status, and they convey ability, aka ability could be a euphemism for skill. So remember the 3 S's: skill, status, social proof. Yep, Shailene Johnson is a great example of someone older that people will watch and respect. 100%. I agree with this. Yeah, don't worry about your age, just do it. But do think it through and say, how do I make this a value proposition versus a vulnerability? I do want people to be intentional, but I'm also going to be honest about the simple fact that in YouTube, if you look at the top YouTubers, they have a couple of things in common that I can't ignore. I do pattern recognition. I do data research for, basically a living at this point. And I've noticed the pattern. I've noticed the pattern that YouTubers, the most successful YouTubers on the platform, there are exceptions like your Mark Robers and your Casey Neistats. There are exceptions. They also started at a point where I could argue that they had this going for them when they started, mind you. But again, for most YouTubers, when do they hit their peak success and when do they grow? And who are the YouTubers with over 10 million? The overwhelming majority, if I audit all of and I think it is 1,600 YouTubers with 10 million subscribers, I think the current number. So if I audit, which I have, all the YouTubers with 10 million subscribers, which is, I think, 1,600 creators in the entire world have I think that's the current number. I wrote an article about this on my website, actually. How many YouTubers have 10 million subscribers? And I'm probably the first result in Google for this still. Yep, I'm the first result in Google for this. Okay, yeah. So how many YouTube channels have 10 million subscribers? If you guys go to the Awesome Creator Academy website, you can find this. But also, if you want, you can do me a favor and just Google search this. But how many have 10 million subs? And I will link you to the article. I'll take the free traffic. But as of 2024, 1,800. Okay, so my number was old in my mind. 1,800 YouTube channels. 1,802 YouTube channels is the new number. I'll just move this over to this tab. I'll share on screen. So currently, as of 2024, it's 1,802 or so YouTube channels with 10 million subscribers. And so in the United States, it's 500 in the United States. And then India is 379 and growing. They do have more play buttons than us in general, by the way. And the largest categories are entertainment, followed by people and blogs, and then music. And you have the breakdown of those top 3. I also have an article on how many people have 1 million subscribers. And I break down these statistics to the best of my ability. Then, of course, I promote my products and invite you to join the Awesome Creator Academy Pro group. But yeah, so, I break this down. And so if you audit these people, though, what most of them will have in common is typically under 30, single, no kids. They will be under 30, usually under 25, single,
and no kids. The majority of them. There will be exceptions like Mark Rober, Casey Neistat, and Jordan Matter, right? There'll be ones like that. And Dan from What's Inside. There will be exceptions to this thing. But if you go and you look at the 1,800 YouTubers that have 10 million subscribers, you'll find that that's the case. Now, does anyone need 10 million subscribers to be a successful YouTuber? No. I'm just saying the tippy top of what's represented in YouTube skews incredibly young, incredibly single, and incredibly childless. This can also, to a degree, represent the startup culture of Silicon Valley for the most part. But that doesn't mean there aren't successful people with families, married, happily married, in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They're crushing it on YouTube and in the tech sphere and in entrepreneurship. I'm just telling you that there is something to be said for the young, hungry upstarts. And to some degree, there is some advantage in these people being risk takers, go-getters, gamblers, and having everything to gain and very little to lose. That's just a psychology factor that goes into it. Little known fact, I would also tell you, as far as young male YouTubers, there's a disproportionate amount of them that seem to be 6 feet tall for some reason. So yeah, so just something to keep in mind. Template Sounds, another $5 super chat, says, key takeaway, tactics are for amateurs, strategy is for professionals, psychology is for masters. Yep, that is a Roberto Blake quote, and thank you for that. Bella says, Roberto, replying about older people. What about from an advertising perspective? Older people have much higher disposable income. Same with affiliates. Does age demographics affect RPM and CPM? Yes, it does. I've actually talked about this quite a lot. An older affluent audience may be a smaller total addressable market. Take my audience, for example. Take all of you. The majority of you, and you can feel free to let me know in the chat if you feel comfortable with it. You can tell me your age in the chat. But older people, aka people over 30, mind you, tend to start to be the cutoff and start to skew more affluent, have more disposable income, and are more willing to invest in things that they think significantly improve their outcomes, let's say, right? So in that regard, yes, that's why I do well compared to some of my contemporaries. They have viral videos, but they have a young and frankly broke audience. I have people I coach that are gamers that get 10 times the views I do and a fraction of the income. And it's because, one, their niche is less monetizable, relies on someone else's IP, and they have a young broke audience and they have nothing to sell to them. So there is something to be said for the age demographic having a smaller total addressable market, but that smaller total addressable market also has a lion's share of disposable income. So do keep in mind that variability. The variability of, okay, smaller group, but more money is a real thing. And so having a smaller target market that gets you, hey, you get less subscribers. Hey, you'll get less views. You don't go viral, but you infinitely make more money. That could be something to consider. And so there are advantages to age. Age does favor money. Money is ageist as hell. Money is ageist. Money favors age disproportionately. But attention favors youth. Money favors age. Attention favors youth. Ask the Teen 85 says, Roberto, if you take clips from a video from your own live streams and post those as shorts, will they get copyright violations or will they hit the repurposed content policy? They will not, they should not. And if they do, appeal it because it's a false positive and the system is flawed. The system is flawed. And I hate how flawed it is. Victor has a question. Hi, Roberto. What is the average time duration years it takes for someone to become a full-time YouTuber considering different niches? On average, and I will tell you variations of this, 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, 7. Now, why is it 3, 5, and 7? It depends on other circumstances outside of YouTube itself or your niche. Meaning that the sooner you can go into full time, the shorter that time is. And that means, and when I say full time, the sooner you can leave your job, the sooner you succeed. I'll give you an anecdotal example. I did not make ad revenue that would replace my income when I finally succeeded on YouTube. It was 3 years, 100,000 subscribers. In 3 years, I'm measuring doing weekly content because I'm not measuring from the first time I uploaded in 2009, because I almost never uploaded from 2009 to 2013. In 2013, in July, and I remember this, is when I started doing weekly Photoshop tutorials. I committed to a type of content. I committed to a weekly schedule. So my schedule was I will upload on every Thursday, which means the videos were coming out Friday morning. So when I committed, that's when I counted from. And so the 26 videos I made in 2013 through the 800 videos that I made by May of 2016 got me to 100,000 subscribers and my silver play button. I was not making good YouTube ad revenue at that time, and I was still in my contract with the multi-channel network that was taking half of my ad revenue anyway. So when I say full-time YouTuber, I'm not talking by AdSense. I'm talking by all of your income streams can replace the income you had from your 9-to-5 job, or can at least sustain you. My solution was that I, at 2013, already was a full-time freelancer. So by having control of my time freedom so that I could commit to a schedule and could make the amount of videos possible, study and learn about the platform and grow, I had control of my time. That doesn't mean I had unlimited time, but I had control. So because I could make my income without working 9 to 5 and not be burnt out and exhausted by the time I make my videos, I had the ability to choose when I was working on client work, so I could choose what days or hours I was working on my video content. So I could make it to where I had the energy to do it. Instead of using my burnt out energy running on fumes after a grueling 9-to-5 job and an hour commute, I wasn't doing that. I was already work from home, full-time freelancer, work from home, full-time freelancer. So my circumstances permitted a 3-year trajectory to making good money and to getting my numbers up. It was a 3-year journey from 2013 in the summer to the spring of 2016. And I got most of those subscribers in 2015 through 2016. At the beginning of 2015, I had 20,000 subscribers. At the end of 2015, I had 70,000 subscribers. So I got my 100,000 subscribers by, I believe it wasn't May, it was April, by April of 2016. So I grew overall like 100,000 subscribers in 15 months. I grew 100,000 subscribers in 15 months. If I knew what I know now, I would have capitalized on that. I would have talked about it more in my story. I would have bragged on it. I would have used it as social proof a lot sooner back then. And I wouldn't have taken all these years to only decide that only now will I make and sell a course now, like almost a decade later, right? After the fact. I would have leveraged the momentum of pulling out, because I didn't know that was a rare feat back then. I didn't have all the data that I have to know how rare it is and to know, because again, back then I was probably only watching big YouTubers with 1 million subscribers back then. Like I was watching Freddie Wong and I was watching all his VFX content and I thought it was dope. I was watching Justine and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm a nobody, right? So what makes the circumstance for me to do it in 3 years is I had other income sources, the capacity to invest in my channel. I had the ability to put a lot of my own manpower into this because I had that time, freedom, flexibility, and I had other skills and expertise and experiences from working in advertising, the graphic design, photography, and so on, and being a freelance video editor that gave me the skills that I would need in order to accelerate my growth. So I had several advantages that do not apply to many working class content creators. Now, the thing that could create those circumstances is, for example, if you have a significant other, you have a husband or wife that is making a crap ton of money and you get to be part-time work or a stay-at-home spouse or a stay-at-home parent, and your kids are old enough to go to school, that could create a circumstance where you could grow in YouTube in like 3 to 5 years and be successful and take it full time and make 5 to 10 grand a month. You could do that in 3 to 5 years if you get to be at home most of the day, or you get to work from home, period. So the thing that gives you the 3 to 5 years thing to be faster is you work from home or you are full-time at home. Those would be the ideal circumstances to grow the fastest. Or that you're a student and you have an easy course load, or you're only a part-time student and you don't have to work, or you are a teenager who already lives at home with their parents. Those create the circumstances for you to have the time freedom that gives you an advantage. You might lack in experience and expertise. But you would spend your time freedom to train and learn, and that would overcome that. So you'd be more educated because you have more time. You get to throw all your manpower at it because your energy is not spread into other things. That manpower thing is real because that's the energy part, right? Your manpower is not divided among, if your manpower is divided and you're like working a heavy course load as a student, or you work a full-time job already, or you have a full-time job and kids, or you have children and they have a lot of needs. Oh, that's going to eat up so much energy that even if you had time, it wouldn't matter. So manpower matters. And then any circumstance where you have disposable income to invest, that's going to give you an advantage. So that can shorten up that time period to like a 3 to 5 year span. When you lack all of those things and you're looking to acquire those things from YouTube itself, that's where it takes you 5 to 7 years to be full-time when you're trying to use it primarily to escape your 9 to 5 job. So the best advantage to doing YouTube is not having a 9 to 5 job at all for most people. There are exceptions, and there's things where it could supplement or help that. Like if you're a doctor, lawyer, because you have social status and skills and social proof. You have status, social proof, and skills. So if you're a doctor or lawyer, yeah, then the 9 to 5 works for you rather than against you. If you're in something like that, a titled profession, let's say, a titled blue collar or white collar profession can give you some advantages and can lean into the benefits for the channel. However, what I would say is the best advantage someone has to being a full-time YouTuber is starting as a full-time YouTuber before it even makes any money. If you can be a full-time YouTuber, if you can put anywhere from 30 to 40 hours a week in before you ever make money, and you can just be a full-time YouTuber from day zero, day one, day zero, that's actually your best advantage to become a full-time paid YouTuber as quickly as possible. So that's the ultimate advantage. And no one talks about this. No one talks about this, but it's the ultimate advantage. And that's the secret. Because someone who can work 30, 40, 50 hours a week at YouTube usually can produce some better outcome or learn faster or grow faster than someone who can only work 10 hours with the spare scraps of energy they have left after working 40 to 50 hours a week. If you have 10 to 20 hours and that's spare energy, and that energy is divided between working, taking care of yourself as an adult, maintaining a relationship, and then spending time with your family and doing your obligations. Spare mental energy, spare multiple emotional energy, and spare physical energy. So you don't even have prime peak energy to do any of this. It's a watered down version of your potential. Meanwhile, someone's able to be their full self and show up every time and put in, literally not only more time, but more pure energy, refined energy, prioritize. You can't really compete with that. So that's the difference. That's the difference that no one talks about is just being spread too thin as a part-time creator, as a working class creator. The working class creator should, in my opinion, the thing and the value that I hope I'm bringing is I'm teaching you to overcome the time and energy deficit by learning productivity, time management, using tools and systems, and also having specific knowledge and prioritizing speed to overcome the lack of time and energy. So the thing is, if we lack time and energy, then we have to become a speed freak. We have to become a speedster, and we have to break through that barrier, and we have to overcome that. And the thing that lets us be a speedster is, all right, I know exactly what to focus on. I have absolute clarity, and I'm not going to worry about finding myself. I'm going to pick something I'm I'm good at and something I can keep getting good at so that I have a clear target. So picking and getting clarity for your niche and value proposition and not making this an emotional labor is, it sounds messed up, but it's ideal for the reason that I said. The reason it becomes ideal is because you get to prioritize and get the benefits of speed because you have all this clarity and focus, and you can be single-minded, have tunnel vision, and go, this is my tunnel, this is my lane, this is my goal, and I'm just moving toward it with urgency as fast and as hard as I possibly can. So that's what you really want to do in that situation, and as a working class creator. And then on top of that, my tools are there to eliminate friction along the road. So that's where tools. My training will help me stay on target, stay focused, and maximize the economy of my effort. So now the 5 hours of editing, I can get the same result with 2 hours of editing, which means now I can either make the product 2 to 4 times as good or deploy that energy somewhere else or make twice as much. So now that benefits me and accelerates me even further to my goal. So now I have an accelerator. Do you see what I'm saying? So now, I've removed fiction, I've created acceleration, and I'm staying fixated and moving in one direction, not distracted. So now I'm making real progress, and that's what grants me speed. Now, the ability to do that, again, someone else, if they have more resources, more time, less distractions, more energy, they can do all of that just naturally, and they won't need as much effort to do it. When you wonder, why is it I started the same time as this person? And why are they growing faster than me? Sometimes it's that their circumstances are better than yours, not the content. Think about it. Your circumstances being better is going to drastically affect everything else a lot more than just feeling like you're making the same content, you're in the same niche, we start at the same time, why am I not growing as fast as them? They might have all these things in their favor, all these advantages. So you don't know their circumstances. So your circumstances do matter, but you can overcome them by creating conditions that are favorable for you where you are until your circumstances are able to be changed. So the thing is, that's why you optimize yourself to the best of your ability. And that's where the things that I teach, I feel, come into play and are the most realistic and grounded in that experience of being a working class content creator, because I still think that foundational mindset is extremely important. So that's why it can take 3 years if you have ideal circumstances. It can take 0 to 3 years depending on your ideal circumstances and how privileged your starting point is. Okay. So if you have all the time in the world, you have disposable income, you can even co-opt other people for help at $0, and you can basically act like you're full-time from day one, 0 to 3 years. If you're somewhere in between, maybe it's 3 to 5. And then, because maybe you don't work, but maybe you do still have your energy taken up because maybe you have a family. So the thing is, if you don't work, but you have kids, then that's a full-time job. So it's still spare energy and spare time. Okay. If you have both of those things, that's rough. And that's where it takes you 7 years. Longer if you have all of that, and then you still aren't making money, because if your job still isn't a great job, if your job is still not a great job and you still have all that responsibility, all that stress, then that's where it takes longer than 7 years, or it doesn't happen at all a lot of times. So what a lot of people don't realize is that I genuinely believe that being a successful content creator is about creating conditions under which you can thrive. And I don't think anyone in the coaching or strategy realm really talks about the importance of creating winning conditions to succeed. And that's what I think is one of the things I stand out in, is I talk about how you can do that and what you have to have in your favor, how you can augment those resources, where you can supplement them, how you can use free things from time to time until you can afford better, what better looks like, and so on and so on and so forth. Yep. We're going to take a short intermission break because I need more water if I'm going to keep this up. So in the meantime, we're going to help you relax a little bit with a we're going to play something from Zen Buster Music, and you're going to have to try to not be hypnotized by the animation, but we're going to do that while we take a short break. It'll be maybe a 2 to 3 minute break.
All right, and we're back. Thank you, everybody, for waiting. I still see we have about roughly 800 of you watching live across all platforms. And so I'm going to do a little housekeeping and get to some of the super chats. So we have a $50 super chat coming in from Do Better Podcast with Theo Coop. Thank you for the $50 super chat, sir. All right. So Theo says, Roberto, I have a reaction channel and I hit 100K subs in less than 2 years. Congratulations. Huge deal. 100,000 subscribers in less than 2 years. I'm a full-time content creator, but still learning. I'm living off just AdSense, memberships, and live stream donations. So basically the YouTube partner program. And I don't like the feeling of relying on AdSense. What should I do, sir? Okay, so there's a couple of things you can do in your situation, Theo. Since you have the Do Better podcast, I would tell you that with 100,000 subscribers and you grew it so fast and you clearly have a community, I hope that that podcast is also an audio podcast and not just a video podcast on YouTube, and that you're distributing the podcast across all of the audio platforms. And I hope that you're hosting it yourself on some hosting platform for the audio podcast. Because the reason I say this is this. Theo, sorry, not Theo. Why am I calling you? You are Theo, right? Theo, what you can do is you can get sponsors for this podcast. You absolutely can. And you can sell them on the fact that you do a video podcast and an audio podcast. And you can use your combined viewership numbers and your audio download numbers to pitch them. You also can be growing the reach and more opportunities by taking clips from the podcast and distributing them across multiple platforms. Easy way to do this is to use my sponsor, OpusClip. Link in the description. So you can repurpose this across multiple platforms. Now with that, and then also having the audio distribution across multiple audio platforms through podcast hosting and having the aggregate podcast hosting down numbers, you're going to be able to put a media kit together like I do. And then you're going to be able to pitch that to the sponsors. So the thing is, you'd be able to put together something in terms of a media kit like me. And then with your media kit, you'll be able to create packages. And you'll be able to say, hey, here are the opportunities I have. Here are my numbers. Here are my stats. Here's my audience. Here's my community, all of that. And so using those numbers, you're able to pitch them, justify a certain amount of pricing. Then you'll have the revenue from the sponsors. Now with this podcast, your podcast community is likely able to be converted also to an email list. An email list, if you're using ConvertKit, link in the description, you'll be able to get ad revenue from the email list, and you'll be able to sell the sponsors on packages there and justify that and not just the podcast numbers. And it might even be different sponsors from time to time as well. So you'll be able to do that. So now you'll have revenue from taking your clips and monetizing them on multiple short form platforms for the clips. So now you have revenue outside the ad revenue. So that's one extra revenue stream. You'll have sponsors. Every sponsor can be a revenue stream. I would recommend that you reach out to, you should make a list of no less than 20 brands, make a list of 20 brands, reach out to all of them, go with 5, go into long-term 6 or 12-month relationships. Watch the breakdown I did in our brand deals live stream. It's in the live streaming tab in YouTube. You'll want to check it out. We did a Monetization Monday specifically about brand deals, why we negotiate 6 to 12-month contracts, what we get out of those, why it's great for recurring revenue. So we do that. Then ultimately, because we have the 6 to 12-month relationships, that's very consistent revenue. We have security for the year off of that. We're good. And then all of our ad revenue is extra. In my case, I give it to the IRS. And so you do that. Then you, with the sponsorships, you can see if they have affiliate links as well. And then you can make money off the affiliate links for those sponsors, probably negotiate into your deal so you can double dip. It does not change your rates at all. So, but you get to do that. You get the performance-based revenue from that. You also get the accountability and tracking for how your links performed because you're an affiliate as well. So you'll know that they're converting and making the brand money. So it's harder to haggle you down after that. So that's very helpful. So now you have brand deals and you have its cousin, affiliate marketing. So that's 2 great new sources of income for you. Then if you have the newsletter, you're double dipping on sponsorships and ad revenue there, but you can still use your affiliate links. So there's those 3 primary ways to monetize for your own newsletter
that can tie to the brand of your podcast. So the Do Better podcast can have the Do Better newsletter helping you improve in your life just 10 minutes a day. Boom. There's your thing. It's like live a better life by reading 10 minutes a day. Boom. So then you have your newsletter. You send your newsletter out 1 to 2 times a week. That gives you more advertising opportunity, gives you more sponsorship opportunity, gives you more lead gen opportunity, more opportunity for affiliate marketing, so on and so forth. So you have all of that. Now, the one thing about that is between the podcast, YouTube, and doing that with sponsors, affiliate links, ads, and then the multi-platform stuff, that's great, but still not necessarily a revenue stream that you personally fully are in control of. And for that, I think you have to figure out some product that you can sell to your audience, or a suite of products that you can sell to your audience, and you need to develop that. And then that will give you the largest amount of control, because then you have your email list and your customer database and the product, and you set the price and you're in control. No algorithm in your way whatsoever, deciding your fate. So that would be ideal. So that's your ideal situation, Theo. That is how I would look at your podcast. Is I go multi-platform monetizing the clips, so I always have multiple sources of income from that. I use all of that to help me grow the newsletter. I use that and the podcast audio downloads and linking to the newsletter and to the affiliate links and sponsors in the show notes of the podcast, distributed on every audio platform. And this is then all roads lead back to Theo. And so this is how you're going to monetize that. This is how you're going to assert some control and take that control away from the platforms, and particularly YouTube in that case with the monetization. Love you, YouTube. No offense, but we just still need to be controlling our own destiny, not an algorithm doing it. So we do that. And then we have a much more direct relationship with our audience. We have more control over our monetization, and we're not beholden to algorithms and advertisers entirely at that point. But a big component for this, Theo, is to maximize and utilize the leverage you already have, and the leverage of having a 100K channel and a popular podcast. You can absolutely work with sponsors. You can absolutely take that off of YouTube and you can monetize that. And you can absolutely grow a 10 to 20K email list off of that YouTube subscriber base that will absolutely support you, and that will help. And so that's probably the best thing that you could possibly do. Thanks again for the $50 super chat. Really appreciate you. But yeah, that would be my advice for sure. And I hope a lot of you took notes on that, because I do think for a lot of you, if you're looking at, hey, should I start a podcast? Everything I told you is the exact business model you'd need to be successful as a podcaster. If you can get 3 sponsors, if you have Theo's situation, I don't see why Theo wouldn't be able to get 3 sponsors to commit to 6 to 12 months at $2,000 or more a month minimum. If you can get $2,000 a month from 3 of these sponsors, that would put him at $6,000 a month. That's a good portion of the money that we need to be at 10K and to double up here, okay, and to make $10,000 a month. So if he can make $6,000 a month by having 3 sponsors plug his podcast, then he's in good shape. If he can bonus them and get them to do a little bit more because he has the newsletter or his numbers go up, he can get to 10,000 off of just those sponsors. If a portion of that can be affiliate revenue, he can get another 2,500 possibly in affiliate revenue. So that definitely gets him to $10,000 a month between sponsors and affiliate revenue. If he can get a fraction of his audience to support him and buy enough products, if he sold a $20 product, he only needs 100 of his 100,000 subscribers to make an extra $2,000 a month. And so that would definitely help. And so that gets him another 2,000. So the thing is, this business model I just gave to Theo can add up to another $10,000 to $15,000 per month to his pipeline if implemented properly. And yeah, and that's not even counting the extra revenue you get from distributing across the multiple platforms. So like I said, it could add anywhere from another $5,000 to $20,000 per month if implemented correctly. D Blaze says, hey, Roberto, does the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group help in building with speed? I have a flexible job. Well, that's good. You have a flexible job. That helps. And can dedicate 4 hours every day. Also, how long will it take to have a proper system in place doing it myself? Ooh, okay. So the proper system in place doing it yourself, that is the key. That's the key, because that's really dependent on a lot of other things revolving around you. So I'm not trying to be vague or cagey. It's that I don't have enough context to tell you how long it will take, because I don't know enough about your circumstances. And this is why I go over with people in one-on-one calls, because I need to know more about your circumstances. And then even then, your circumstances can change. So the contingency there, the time is still going to be variable no matter what. So there's no guarantee in how long any of this takes, because again, too much of your life can change, or too much in the world can change really quickly that can throw that off. So the thing is, I don't want to set expectations for you around that. Now, in terms of does it help with speed, remember what I said. It's about, okay, does it help with speed? Workflow wise, absolutely. We can reduce workflow creep, because we can analyze and we can tell you, oh, you're doing your workflow inefficiently. Oh, there's a software plugin you don't know about. Oh, there's this AI tool that you can use, because you have the group's collective knowledge. So that can be helpful. There's also a possibility that we have someone who knows something about the niche that you're in, or a related niche that you're in, that can have insight. So the thing is, that always accelerates speed, is having specific knowledge of someone who's been there before. Then there's also my capacity and understanding of channels, research, data, so on and so forth. So just having more information, more data, that can help with speed. That can help with decision creep being eliminated. Decision creep eliminates speed. Workflow creep eliminates, or sorry, let me phrase that. Decision creep eliminates friction, or rather eliminating decision creep eliminates friction, which increases speed. Eliminating workflow creep and optimizing for efficiency also creates speed. Okay. Learning how to kill your darlings creates speed and eliminates friction as well. Also, having a better understanding of the clarity around what you're doing, your niche, intentionality. Intentionality increases decisiveness. Decisiveness leads to speed. So you see where I'm going? So a lot of that is going to play a role here, and that's where your advantage would be. There's also the collective knowledge, means that more people, more eyeballs paying attention to flaws, bottlenecks, getting critique from your peers, getting constructive criticism from your peers. You will improve faster, and improving faster because you're running the gauntlet of being in the hot seat, having me grill you about your thumbnails or your titles, getting feedback from the other creators. Those things mean, oh, you're adapting faster. And the thing is, it's faster than waiting on your audience to speak up and tell you something can be improved. Having other creators tell you what to improve, why to improve it, how to improve it, that increases speed too. I would encourage everybody to consider how you can accelerate your ability to get feedback, because accelerating your ability to get feedback means that you can cycle through your mistakes, your flaws, your biases a lot faster if you can increase the feedback mechanism. Your audience may not be a fast enough or direct enough feedback mechanism. They also don't know what to do. They know what they like when they see it. And they also sometimes will hold back and not complain or criticize you as well. And then the criticism you do get will be delivered very poorly by the trolls or the haters or people who just have poor communication skills but are very vocal. So the thing is, it's not as helpful. So I would say that whatever you can do, and it's not people having to join my Academy Pro group. That's, it's not for everybody, to be honest. It's not for everybody. But whatever you could do to increase and accelerate your feedback mechanism from people who actually know how to potentially improve, meaning fellow content creators. If you can improve and accelerate a feedback mechanism from fellow content creators, then that's one of the most beneficial things anybody can do to accelerate their learning curve, make more appropriate decisions, be decisive, make decisions that exist outside of being in your own head. It's incredibly underrated and incredibly powerful to do that. And not enough creators, frankly, will make themselves open, vulnerable, or receptive to feedback mechanisms. And it's something that it doesn't matter what level of creator you are, it is valuable. And one of the things that I will tell you, I don't share this story much, but I was in a DM group with Mr. Beast, and this is back, I think, during when he did his YouTube Rewind video.
he did his YouTube rebrand. And the thing is, I have to give him credit because he's one of the most humble people I think I've ever met. I'm not saying that to just blow smoke up, a big creator. It's that this creator was on the path to becoming the biggest channel on YouTube. At the time, I think he had well over 60 million subscribers, 80 million subscribers, something like that. He hadn't crossed 100K yet. And he was sitting there taking feedback from us peasants that don't even have 1 million subscribers on just making his video better in this chat group. So we're in this chat group in Twitter, and he's sitting there begging for criticism, feedback, people to rip the video apart. I remember in my part, I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to tell you to fix these 6 things. Hey, you're the big numbers guy. Make these numbers bigger, or what? You're not even bringing, you say this number and you don't bring this number on the screen. You're the numbers guy. Why is the number not on the screen? Oh yeah, got the editor to fix it. Okay, cool. Oh, you're shouting out small creators. Fantastic. Why are their names so big, so small, and I cannot read them and I cannot see their profile pic? Make them bigger. I can't see them. I can't subscribe to them. Shouting them out is worthless if I can't see them. Oh, that's a great idea. We'll do that. It's like, okay, cool. So it's like, it was 6 things I came up with. I think he implemented 4 of them. There's some other kids that don't even have 100,000 subscribers in the group, and they commented on things, and those things got fixed and improved. The fact that one of the biggest YouTubers was so open to criticism and feedback from people that he's 100 times bigger than, 1,000 times bigger than. That's a lesson that I've never been able to forget, and that has always stuck with me, is someone who's constantly subjecting themselves willingly to feedback, and also understands that sometimes, not always, but sometimes a good idea can come from anywhere, and to prioritize the merits of the criticism and the merits of the idea, rather than trying to rationalize it around, who are you to say that to me? Being receptive to the feedback, being receptive to the criticism, understanding that you still have room to improve on something, understanding that there are things that you will overlook, understanding that you have implicit biases towards your own content or approach or your own point of view, and being willing to let go of some of those things and those hangups, and being absolutely willing to kill your own ego. That's a lesson I learned or took from Mr. Beast in that moment back in 2021 when he did this. I think it was 2021. It was either 2020 or 2021. And it always stuck with me, and it always stood out to me that this is amazing that he hasn't lost the hunger and the desire so much to improve and to get feedback that he will subject himself to criticism from anybody if he genuinely believes that it will improve the quality of the content that he's producing and the product that he's putting out into the world. And I'm like, if every YouTuber thought like that, they'd probably be able to cut the learning curve and improve their content faster if they were more willing to take truly constructive good faith criticism. The problem is, how do you build a group of people that are capable of good faith criticism and understand enough things to be able to give valid criticism and to be able to communicate and deliver it respectfully? And that's a problem. And again, it was something I was looking for, and that's part of one of those reasons why I started the Academy Pro Group, was because I realized when I started that in 2018 that, man, my YouTube journey would have been easier if I had more creators to talk to, and if I wasn't as isolated. And so that was something that I thought became really important. And so I think that a lot of creators don't have places where they feel comfortable and confident that they can get constructive criticism, that they can get good faith feedback, and that people know what they're talking about, and that people actually have their best interest at heart. Because a lot of people will be happy to criticize us, but not for our benefit. They want to be heard giving criticism. It's not for them to want to see us improve. So you need good faith criticism. You need people who have your best interest at heart, that want the best for you, the best for the project, the best for the audience. And that can be hard to come by, and it can be hard to judge that. And that can be really difficult. And I understand that that's a thing. And maybe even that's why some of you come to the live streams, is that's something you might be looking for. So, it's just something to think about. Brandon's recovery. Yeah, A/B thumbnail testing should be coming out before the end of this year for almost all accounts,
Amjad Anif, the VP of Creator Products in YouTube, told me that in our interview. If you guys watch my interview, I interviewed the Vice President of Creator Product at YouTube. That was like a couple of months ago, but it's still up on the channel. I think that interview has 10,000 views now. Really solid. I got to spend 45 minutes with one of the chief decision makers in YouTube. Colin and Samir got to have the CEO. I got to have the vice president. So yeah, balances out. And so, yeah, he told me A/B testing should be out before the end of this year for everybody by the end of 2024. Hopefully, YouTube's able to deliver on that and keep that promise. Tom, the window is closed. You cannot get out the window. There is no escape. You have to get used to the idea that you're a well-kept house cat. You don't have anything to complain about. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Yep. So let's see, scrolling. The Divine Chef says, hey, Roberto, I want to join Awesome Creator Academy. I just want to make sure it's a good fit for my channel as I'm a plant-based food channel. I've actually worked with food channels in the past. Trying to think of who you guys would know besides Flav City Bobby. Who would you all know besides Flav City Bobby? I've worked with a couple of food channels before. I was trying to think of who else. What was that channel's name? Let me see something. Well, one of the food channels, he's like more of a, well, again, somebody I've worked with in the past that you guys might know or heard of is Flav City Bobby. I think he does a great job. I definitely understand the food niche. My friend Benji Travis has done food-based and cooking content. He's more of a vlogger these days, family vlogger and stuff like that. But I've worked with food channels in the past. But yeah, I think the one that I can remember that you would know is Flav City Bobby. I haven't directly coached, but I've talked a lot with, and we did an interview with Max the Meat Guy. So I've informally worked with and coached Max the Meat Guy, but I did that as a friend. So I also correctly predicted in my podcast that he's going to be a 10 million subscriber channel soon. I correctly predicted that in my podcast interview with him, which is actually pretty dope. So I believe we can add value to you, but I think it's more than just content strategy. I think that I think the feedback and constructive criticism will be helpful. 2, I think also one other aspect of this is being able to help you scrutinize your workflow and the bottlenecks and efficiency in your workflow. Remember, I'm someone who edited 1,600 videos on this channel alone, and I still edit all the videos until my brother takes over. I still edit all the videos, and I've done advanced type videos, not just talking head. I've done green screen videos. I've done top-down product review videos. I've even done drone videography. So I have an advanced technical background, multicam edits for interviews and such. So I have advanced video editing skills and techniques. They don't lend themselves as well to education content sometimes because it just becomes this big distraction. Not to mention sometimes the views don't justify the 20 hours of editing for the advanced stuff. However, the good news about having all those editing chops and those editing techniques is it means I know the efficiency bottlenecks on both the hardware and software side. I'm also one of the few YouTube coaches who's actually used Adobe Premiere Pro and mastered it, knows Adobe After Effects and Audition, but also has used DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, Filmora Pro, and CapCut, and a few other software you've never heard of. So the thing is, I'm well-rounded on software. I'm very good on the software side. I'm also extremely good on the hardware side because I've been a PC builder and I've done PC and Mac.
So I also know hardware efficiency and hardware bottlenecks as well. So I know the video editing workflows, the software and hardware side of optimization around those things. I also know cameras and know gear and production enough to help you understand things. And I've done the photography, and I've done food photography before too, which means I know what lenses, what camera angles. Oh, well, I'm talking about food channels. Tosh Point Fro Eats, over 100,000 subscribers. I think 200,000 in Instagram, 3 million plus or 4 million plus in TikTok. My friend Natasha, Tosh Point Fro Eats. So yeah, I've worked with another. Well, that's more of a mukbang channel. So if your thing is more cooking, then it's different, obviously, but it's a mukbang channel. So anyway, my point is, and I just remember this because we were talking about camera angles and camera angles for the mukbang stuff and the close-ups. So we were talking about the focal length of the lenses and stuff like that. So I just remembered that. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot I think I could help you with, whether it's if you join the group or if we work together one-on-one. I do think there's a lot of value I can add. I think that one of the things for specifically cooking content is the photography in the thumbnails. The staged photography for thumbnails becomes absolutely important. I don't have to tell you that, but I also think that it's more than YouTube. There's an angle for the food stuff with regard to short form across Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels and TikTok, but also Snapchat that is not considered as a component. And you could be monetizing in all of those platforms simultaneously with vertical short form content and everything like that, even if you don't want to do YouTube shorts. And for some of you that don't want to do shorts on the same channel, you should be doing vertical short form and monetizing these other 4 platforms instead. Well, that and x.com anyway. So so there's like these 5 vertical video platforms that even if you don't want to make YouTube shorts, you should make vertical short form, and then you should monetize in these 4 platforms. And it's TikTok. For those of you who mess with TikTok, I don't mess with TikTok. Snapchat, x.com, formerly Twitter, and Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels. And you could monetize all 5 of those depending on your country and where you live. And that would be a real good reason to do vertical short form, but especially for food. And then there's ways with that food content where you could even do it to where you don't use voices at all. And then it's really scalable and can reach a massive universal audience. A lot of you didn't realize that when you do voiceless content in short form, it has higher viral potential because now it's accessible in all languages because there is no language. And I learned this from working with gamers, by the way, that do gameplay only, no voice. But for short form specifically, though, for that strategy. So. Chill React says, Roberto checked me about my thumbnails and I changed them and instantly got a boost. Sometimes that happens. You'd be surprised that it's not the video editing for a lot of y'all. It is the packaging. A lot of times that's the big thing holding some of you back. So Isvik says, Roberto, I've been watching you since I started my channel a year ago. I've learned so much and I'm about to hit 10K subscribers. Thanks so much for being here for All Content Creators. Appreciate you, man. Congratulations on 10,000 subscribers. We always love to see those milestones. Definitely appreciate that. Jesse Kelvin says, Roberto, this is not in relation to today's topic, but have you ever had a big video with 2 click rate? Do you mean 2% or do you mean double digits? Because I've had both before. And big relative to my total addressable market and to the view floor for my niche among my competitors, yes. Yes, definitely. I've had videos such as some of these live stream replays get over 100,000 views to 500,000 views with a less than 1% click-through rate. Well, now, because again, the bigger the impression reach is, and in this case, it's from the suggested videos traffic source, because what you guys should be looking at is you shouldn't just be looking at click-through rate. You should look at what traffic source the click-through rate came from. We'll address that more the next time we do a FAQ Friday. Next time we do an FAQ Friday, and we're going over the analytics stuff. We'll do an FAQ Friday. We'll cover analytics, and we'll go over some of these videos and their click-through rates again. Because what you really want to do is look at how many impressions, and you also want to look at the traffic source. You don't want to just look at the click-through rate. Tiara says, I've been at this YouTube thing for 4 years and I'm still trying to figure it out. And she says, I'm not going to give up. That's for sure. Awesome. All right. Bella says the average number of videos to get monetized is usually around 150. If your content niche has a reasonable need, then a lot less. 20 to 30 long form videos with your channel set up properly and links to playlists. Yeah, that's fairly accurate. Generally, though, because of the learning curve, I tell a lot of people that it might take them up to 100 videos in a year or 100 videos a year for 2 years. It took Mr. Beast more than that. It took Mr. Beast much, much more than that. And he struggled for a while because of that. But he was also a kid. So he was also at the time making really not great stuff and cringy stuff when he first started because he was a kid. He got, older, and to some degree, he got better. And the content got much less cringy, better quality. And he also, found himself, let's say, and said, here is all the characteristics that really make me tick. And here's how I'm learning to, incorporate it. Small Drive says, hey, Roberto, sometimes you have to be okay with the fact that as a new YouTuber, you won't always do everything that you think that you should or could have done. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I certainly look back in hindsight. That's why I do the content I do now. It's all hindsight. It's all, if I knew this, I would have done better. So now I just, that's all my content now. All my content is that I get to Monday morning quarterback because hindsight's 2020. And it's not just hindsight, my own channel. It's the case studies I do on other successful channels. I've helped grow a silver play button channel in every one of the major 15 categories that YouTube provides us with. I'm getting some of those clients to send copies of their play buttons. So I get to Monday morning quarterback and go, okay, I now understand this category because we've helped grow a channel to 100,000 or 1 million. And so now we understand what did or didn't work there. We can build some analysis around that. We can build some strategies around that. We can go, hey, what's this? I can Monday morning quarterback and I can look at because I have Social Blade, I have the paid version. I can sit there and I can look at the top 1,000 channels in every category, run AI, have it objectively give me the average number of uploads across the top 1,000 channels in every category, break down what those averages are, get a normalized data set and go, so to get to the top on average in this category, this is how many uploads. Oh, well, how old were those channels? Audit that number. Oh, this is the age and everything. So I can sit there and I can use all this, data to then come to a conclusion I never could have come to when I wasn't even smart enough to know what data to look at or to even start or how to use a camera. I would have never been able to think of the questions that I would ask today to even begin to understand and fathom what I'm trying to understand. I wouldn't know what questions. So the thing is, yeah, absolutely. There's no way that when you're small, you can even know a fraction of the things that you know down the road. Hindsight's always going to be 2020. And I don't have the expectation. That a small YouTuber should know any of these things. I certainly didn't. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. And so, yeah, I can absolutely appreciate that. Yeah, Joshua, I agree. Joshua Asgard, I brought that up. It's not just about age. It's also about all your other positioning and all of your circumstances. I agree. I do think that age can give you many benefits. And I think that, affluence tends to favor age, but it's not always exclusive to that. You can start out that way, depending on your parents and your situation. And yeah, you can start at 50 and that can be more than fine. On average, there's a favorability on YouTube because attention favors younger people, but skill, status, and social proof favor you with age more than likely. How do you work? The sleep scientist says, "Hey, Roberto, how do you work on presentation and personality? How do I know I'm over editing? I do agree I would be better with a PA and an editor. I had both a year ago, but struggled and had to let them go. Yeah, it happens. So for presentation and personality, I would say is conveyed through style, structure, and storytelling. So I would excel in those areas so that you can highlight your personality more. If you focus on the style and the visual aesthetics, the branding, all of those things, then aspects of your personality can be reflected in those choices. Structure and storytelling, which basically come down to script writing for the most part. It would come down to script writing or your outlines, so on and so forth. That can allow you the opportunity to bring out more of your personality. It can also help presentation dramatically in both cases because you have the visual presentation and now you have the delivery improved. So I would do that. Of course, you can always practice public speaking as well, improving your communication style. So those are things that I think are actionable enough that directly would improve you. Yeah, don't use the promotion tool. Doug Houston, thank you for covering this with the folks in chat. Do not use the promotion tools since they are designed for businesses on YouTube, such as direct-to-consumer and e-commerce brands. It's for promoting a product or a service. Do not try to use it for channel growth. I agree. I don't really want to comment on AI generated channels too much at this point. And part of the reason is YouTube is reviewing their AI policy and guidelines. So the thing is, I don't want to bother to really comment on how to do it at all until they really finalize that. Yes, Lopez Investing. This is really live right now. Brands recovery. Would it be difficult to grow a gaming channel to 100K? Generally, it is for several reasons. And if you're looking to be a full-time content creator and you're over the age of 30, as much as this makes me a dream killer, and there are people who can do it, but I'm not going to recommend it. If anyone's over the age of 30, I'm not going to recommend trying to grow a gaming channel unless it's Minecraft or Roblox or GTA 5. The only outright, if you're or maybe Pokemon. Now you can do it. And if you're already over 10K, if you're already a gaming channel over 10,000 subscribers, then I can work with that. And I can think of, okay, you've proven yourself. You've beat 90% of all YouTubers by having 10,000 subscribers. Okay, let's talk about viability. Let's talk about scale. Let's look at the game. Let's look at how many users the game has, how many copies it sells a year, how many downloads it has a year, how many monthly active users. Let's optimize. Like I can optimize for someone growing a gaming channel from 10K to 50K and 50K to 100K if they already have 10K. From zero, if you're over 30 years old and you're not a youngster, I'm like, nope, let's do something else, please, because the money is not in it. Now, the money's in it if you can be in esports and streaming.
if you give me an esports and streaming, the money's not. This is not the good old days with Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and YouTube and PewDiePie. It's radically different. And this is no disrespect to gamers. It's I think you all know. I think you all know how hard it is to monetize a gaming channel. I think you all know how hard the copyright claims and the false copyright claims are. I think you know how much like Nintendo cracks down and how the music gets claimed by the change in the labels, because sometimes they sell the album to a different license holder, and then under that contract they decide that it's not fair use anymore, or they don't want people to do it. You know how it is. You get the copyright claims, you get the demonetization, you get trolls and mass flagging reporting for your channel if you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, and piss people off, whatever. The RPM and CPM is low. You guys know how rough it is to make any money in gaming, and that also there's too many kids taking lowball sponsor deals that cut the whole market out from under you in terms of pricing. So you guys already know that when I'm saying this, I'm not trying to be cynical. I'm not trying to dunk on gamers. I'm trying to tell you that if you're in your 30s, that oftentimes it needs to be a hobby if you want to do a gaming channel, or you probably missed the boat, because you probably are not in a position to be as devoted to it as other people, and therefore not as in a much position to win at that, because it's highly youth driven, highly competitive there. You tend to age out of the market faster. There's less sponsor opportunities. The sponsor opportunities are spread too thin. You have people tanking the market by taking lowball deals because they're kids. There's just a lot of problems monetarily in the gaming niche, and there's no end of young people that are starting the gaming channels. And the thing is, even if you do make some headway in your 30s, before you make it, all it takes is one kid ripping off your thing and having more hours to put in and taking your whole shtick, and it's a problem, and it will happen to a degree. So there's a lot of barriers and pitfalls. But if you're able to get to 10 or 20,000 subscribers in your 30s as a gamer successfully, then there's opportunity, and I can work with that. But for most people in their 30s, a gaming YouTube channel is a hobby, not a career. And it's not going to be. And you could say that about any niche, Roberto, but there's no niche in YouTube in particular that has as many stumbling blocks and problems as gaming creators face, and I'm empathetic to that. I coach about 40 to 50 gamers a year, and I've seen everything, and it's a landmine. It's really rough. It is really hard. Gaming is one of the hardest niches in YouTube because it's the easiest to start, and that makes it one of the hardest to succeed in. It's one of the easiest to start and the hardest to finish. So that's the problem with gaming. So yeah, it's possible, but the level of difficulty is very, very high, very high. And even if you get to 100K, you can get to 100K and still be broke. So the thing is, if it's purely a passion, you can pursue it. If it's something where you absolutely need it to make money, or you hate your day job and you want to quit your day job, I would not choose gaming as the vehicle for it. Personally, not at 30. In your 20s, even up to age 27, I'm like, there's a window, maybe. It depends on the game. The fastest things to grow in my opinion, that are viable, that have an unlimited total addressable market, are sandbox games. Sandbox games have an unlimited total addressable market, in my opinion, because there is content that hasn't been invented for them, if you know what I mean. So that would be Roblox, GTA, and Minecraft for the most part. And I hope that's not overly discouraging to people. I'm just keeping it real. It's not impossible, but I'm being realistic about all the problems that it faces. And those are problems that exist outside of the gamer's control for the most part. Joni asks, hey, Roberto, do you think channels that were in long hiatuses can be revived once the views are low? I've seen it happen before, actually. There was somebody that I know who, for legal reasons with regulations, had to stop their YouTube channel because they were in Canada. And believe it or not, the government regulated the fact that for this particular person's situation, they couldn't upload to YouTube. And so they took a year off. They had to, got demonetized out of the partner program, even had their views crater. And then they managed to decide to change their career, not have to deal with the regulators, paid off their mortgage, and then decided to go all in on YouTube. And he was able to bounce back. He was able to bounce back his channel after a year, cratering views, cratering subs, not uploading any content, out of the partner program. He was back into the partner program within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, he was able to, here come the views again. Here come the subs again. Here comes the ad revenue again. Back in the partner program. Yeah. And so he was able to do that. So I've seen it happen. If it's longer than a year, that's rough. But I've at least seen it with someone with a year with no outside interference, just purely the content. It's purely the content. Who Ride asked, Roberto, how hard would it be to monetize a hip hop news channel, urban culture, movies, etc.? And is it profitable category? Your biggest problem will be the reused content policy and copyright strikes and copyright claims. Those will be your biggest problems. I could see Madden and FIFA content also doing well, and they have higher CPMs. Yeah, they have higher CPMs. So I would say Madden, NBA 2K, and FIFA content for gaming can work well. So sports gaming, if you're over 30, I can work with. And that one, there's certain things you can do, and the revenue is better. The revenue is better, and the crossover for brand deals. The crossover for brand deals in sports gaming lends itself to not only gaming style brand deals, but lifestyle brand deals and sporting related brand deals. So, and even sporting events potentially. So the thing is, that's different, and that can work. And that's a very specific niche. I've worked with, I think we've worked with 2 or 3 people in that niche over the last 5-6 years. So that one can work. You don't have to necessarily do finance or pharma, but like you have to find something that has a practical thing. What about Mortal Kombat games? It's not even at peak popularity. It fell off in peak popularity. Same thing for Street Fighter. And Street Fighter fell off because during the pandemic, Evo wasn't a thing. So Street Fighter and some other things fell off because of Evo. The Pokemon, not Pokemon, the Smash Brothers community is in turmoil for a lot of reasons revolving around Nintendo. I just don't think it's viable, Brandon. Not for a career. I don't really see a Mortal Kombat channel going that way. But not if you're just going to do gaming content. If you were going to redub Mortal Kombat stuff and you were going to make it funny and you're going to make an abridged Mortal Kombat, and if you're going to take, here's what I would do, Brandon, here's what I would do. I don't even know if you can make money on this, but I know I can get 100,000 subscribers doing this. I don't know if it makes money, but here's something. All right, so gamers, listen up, gamers. Here's what you do. I don't know that you'll make any money on this because I think it'll get demonetized. But I do have a strategy that requires very little talent to get from 0 to 100,000 subscribers utilizing gaming content, but not gameplay at all. Not gameplay. The strategy revolves around you needing to use the cinema cutscenes from gaming. And then you have to be good at writing, and you have to rewrite a script for these games and make them hilarious interactions
and make them, you have to take the most iconic cinematic cutscenes from video games, then redub the voice. You might use performance plus AI for this and redub the voices to say wildly out of pocket, funny things, not inappropriate, but funny, borderline, and be viral moments. And your answer to getting to 100,000 subscribers is to make viral moments using cinematic footage from gameplay to either add context or take them wildly out of context and make it funny so that it will be shared everywhere and go viral. I do not know that you can make money off of this because of the copyright aspect of it. But I do know that it will go viral and you can get from 0 to 100,000 subscribers if you make hundreds of pieces of abridged, dubbed gaming cutscenes and you make them funny as hell. That goes to, if you redub those and you do that and you redub the conversations and cutscenes of the most iconic games of all time and the most iconic scenes of all time, and you make them funnier than they ever were, and you make them unique enough, you go 0 to 100,000 because you go viral pretty much every time, and people binge watch for the other scenes. And so if you make like 150 of these, you go to 100,000 subscribers. And they'd have to be the best of the best. And they have to be iconic things that everyone recognizes, and you have to use a scene that everyone knows. So I would probably only find cinematic gameplay scenes that already have over 10 million to 50 million views on YouTube. And then I would find the most popular ones, and I would source 100 scenes that have 10 million to 100 million views on YouTube, let's say, right? So I would source gameplay scenes from different games that already have 10 million to 100 million views. I wouldn't stop until I have 100 of those scenes. Then I have to go back and I have to AI or voice act over them with a new script and make them hilarious and make them something that is meme worthy. And I'm probably gonna have to tie them into something relevant in current culture or memes or exaggerated or something to that degree. And then the reason I need to do that is because if I get 1% of the views that the thing originally got, then my view floor becomes 100,000 to a 100,000 to 1 million view floor if I have a 1% return on that. So that's the thing I can do that. That's the thing that can do that. And you can do that with multiple games, but they have to have cutscenes. If you're really into Mortal Kombat, then you have to do that, and you have to do it for like every iconic Mortal Kombat character, and you have to make the scenes hilarious and the best they can be, and you have to actually be very good at writing and thinking out scripts and interactions and making it funny. So there has to be a comedic element. Decatur ATLian $2 super chat says, Roberto, what is your opinion on a new fitness channel? I worked with Dr. Mike Diamonds. I worked with Dr. Mike Diamonds to grow his channel. It got to 1 million a couple months ago. It got to 1 million. And I think that fitness still has a lot of potential. And I think there's different aspects and different ways to approach fitness. I think it will always be an evergreen niche. I think there will always be a desire for it. And I see different people blowing up with different approaches. Sam Sulek is crushing it, but he's a very, very unique use case. But it's also interesting. You have Joey Swole. He's taking a unique angle to things. I still think there's room to grow in the fitness niche. Absolutely. I've worked with clients in there before. Let's see. We're only gonna probably take maybe 1 or 2 more questions, and then we're gonna call it a night. Tawana Yvette on demand says, Roberto, I'm also curious about the beauty community now in 2024. I'm a female over 50, African American, 15.5K subs with lifestyle. content, but I'm thinking of more beauty and hair. It's just easier content. Easier content doesn't mean a larger overall addressable market. In your situation, I would try to find the largest market possible if your goal is still growth. If your goal is I want to make easy videos and express myself, then yeah, you could lean more into beauty and hair. But if you want to grow the largest possible, I'd look for the largest market opportunity possible. That's what my real advice would be. That's just what my actual real advice would be in that situation. The Pink Pill $10 super chat says, hey, Roberto, I've noticed a lot of YouTubers who give commentary are using picture-in-picture where you see them commenting in a small circle with B-roll. What is that called and how do you do it? It's still picture-in-picture. You actually just called it what it is. It's picture-in-picture. If you want to know how they're accomplishing it, they're probably using, they're either doing it in post with the editing or they're using Camtasia, which makes it really easy to do. It's really easy to do that with Camtasia. This is sometimes called reaction style content or commentary. So it's reaction style content or commentary, and you named it. It's picture in picture. That's really all it is. Tiara says, I have 4 different niches going on my channel: natural hair, paintings, vlogs, and small YouTuber support. Do you think I'll make it big or do I have to pick one? There's no reason to keep doing small YouTuber support on that channel unless you make that members only, because that's just confusing the algorithm and the audience. Painting and vlogs would go together. Natural hair and vlogs would go together. You're gonna have to decide which one matters, because it's like I would not be doing them all on YouTube. There's not really a reason to do all these things on one YouTube channel, to be honest with you. I would probably, if I were you, go with natural hair and vlogs. I would do your paintings on Instagram and Pinterest where it makes the most sense. And I don't think that the small YouTuber support stuff is the most practical use of your time. Just being realistic on that one. Because I don't really think, generally speaking, that outside of just being part of it in a community in like Twitter or Discord, I don't think making content on your channel around it is productive, just because it takes away editing and packaging time from the majority of your audience, which I believe the majority of your audience is probably natural hair and vlogs. So you're losing editing time, editing videos that a very small portion of people want because you still have an interest in it yourself. And so the thing is, doing something, it's like there's a reason why back in the olden days, there was more content I made. I killed off doing movie reviews on this channel for a reason. I used to do movie reviews on this channel sometimes. I was like, hey, Monday through Friday, we'll take it seriously. On the weekends, hey, we'll do movie reviews and we'll hang out as a community. That was a terrible idea, so I killed it off. There were exceptions where I got views. I would get like sometimes 50,000 views on a Game of Thrones review. Where it's like I killed it off and I privated the videos. It's like it's just too confusing for an audience. It's just too confusing for an audience. I would do natural hair and vlogs. I think there's intersection enough for that for your audience, and you can brand as a lifestyle channel. I would say maybe you brand as an Afrocentric lifestyle channel of some kind, and you keep the content more in line with a specific aspect of that. So you have a little bit of variety. The paintings and the YouTuber support stuff, kill it off. That's my honest opinion. Zolo Q says, Roberto's right about the sandbox games. I've made some custom castles. People seem to love it. Yeah. Yeah. Sandbox games are really strong overall if you can pull it off. Twana says, lifestyle is so hard now because all the changes, but I totally understand what you mean, Roberto. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Yep, I got it. I found the question. Thanks. Covered it.
What kind of markets do VTubing work for? Commentary, anime, TV show reviews, and to some degree, a little bit of booktube could work for VTubing. There's probably a couple other things, but those are the first things that come to mind. All right, we're 3 hours and 30 minutes. I think that's a good place to start to wrap things up and to cut it. I hope we got through a lot of your monetization questions. I know we still ended up with some content related questions, but I do feel like I did break down. I think I delivered on breaking down the monetization aspects of diversifying, talking about the money and brand deals, the monetization potential of niches. I know we had to derail some of that to get to some of your questions. But I still feel like we fit mostly the theme for Monetization Monday today, being a 10,000 a month creator. There's more details that we can go into. I'll probably end up making an edited video, not using the live stream footage, but making an edited video that just really breaks down some of the models around that and some of the data. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We have over almost 900 of you right now across all platforms. I'm not sure how many of you are watching on YouTube specifically. If I checked, I could probably figure that out. We probably have, how many people does it say we have on YouTube? I think it says concurrent viewers. I think it says we have 140 of you live right now. I think that we've had 1,849 views. So we've had people coming in and out. An average view duration of about roughly 17 minutes. So that's dope. So thank you for that. Pretty cool stuff there. Yeah, 143 concurrent viewers. Stream has been healthy the whole time, so yay for that. Absolutely. Yeah, so overall, I think it's been a really good stream. Thanks to everybody who super chatted. Really appreciate all of you. And to all the new channel members, Rashid Barnes, Story 88, Charles Moreland, Michael Billups, MTGV, Crime Podcast, Kristen Harrington, let's see, Cat Podcast, Henny Holland, Steve Eisenberg, Culture Club USA, 10 Plus Sounds. Thank you for the super chat. Clover Tack, the Do Better Podcast with that $50 super chat. Natasha Vincent, the Pink Pill, and Decatur ATLian. Really appreciate all of you. Let's see. Kim Helm asked, do you have a yearly option for Awesome Creator Academy? I do have an option for that. So anyone who's interested in joining Awesome Creator Academy and being part of the pro group, I'm going to link to it here in the chat. And there is a monthly and a yearly option to sign up. So you can find out all about that from the link here in the chat and the link in the description. Thank you for asking, by the way. Appreciate you. So thank you, Kim. So that is there for anybody who's interested in it. Don't forget to like the stream on your way out. Yeah, you guys said 137 in YouTube. I think it's up a little bit. Yep, absolutely. Appreciate all of you. We'll be covering some more stuff. We have a workshop Wednesday coming up. I don't remember what we're covering this week, but I can take a look, or I can try to take a look real quick. What are we covering on Workshop Wednesday this week? So it looks like Workshop Wednesday is... Workshop Wednesday? When is Wednesday? Is Wednesday the 12th? Is Wednesday the 12th? No, Friday's the 12th? Okay, I have to figure out the Wednesday schedule then. I remember that what's happening is I'm traveling on Saturday, and I'm out the 13th through the 17th. I'm going to figure out if we're streaming and how we're streaming, because I'm traveling to Vegas for NAB show during the 13th to 17th. So I'm going to try to see what our workshop Wednesday can be. But it looks like we do at least have a FAQ Friday stream scheduled. So we'll definitely make sure we're honoring that. I'll figure out what we're doing for workshop Wednesday. Maybe you guys can drop me some suggestions in the comments after the chat's over. So definitely stay tuned for that. Keep notifications on, all the good things. But yeah, we probably will try to do a workshop Wednesday this Wednesday. We'll still do an FAQ Friday on Friday. And let's see, what else have we got going on? I want to remind all of you that you can also get the 12-week creator guide. It should be linked in the description. You should be able to get that. Let's see if we can drop it here into the chat for you. Let me see what I can do about dropping that in the chat. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll drop a link for that here. But yeah, it's a free download that will give you a 12-week creator playbook, and that will help you grow a bit faster. So get the free 12-week creator playbook. I'm dropping that here in the chat for you. Someone's asking, can I listen to this as a podcast? It should show up later in YouTube podcast. If you want to listen to it on the YouTube Music app, it'll show up in YouTube Music. That should help you. Michael Billups, thank you. Appreciate it. Yep. But that's it for our stream tonight. Definitely want to make sure that I thank our wonderful and lovely sponsors, Streamyard, OpusClip, and Kajabi. They're all linked in the description down below. You all know what they do by this time. Streamyard is the simplest solution for live streaming, which has us over here on Facebook, LinkedIn Live, x.com, formerly Twitter, YouTube Live, Twitch, and kick.com. OpusClip is perfect for repurposing, uses AI tools to give you animated motion graphics text, now with B-roll, if you want it, automated B-roll, and can schedule and distribute across multiple platforms, making sure that you're able to repurpose, post, and monetize. So make sure you're checking out OpusClip. Again, links for free trials for everything are in the description down below. Please use them and support our sponsors, and make sure you're smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. We also, of course, want to thank Kajabi. So for those of you in the education business who are thought leaders, you want to check out Kajabi, where you can build your own membership website like I did with Awesome Creator Academy, your own coaching calls, your own cohorts and communities. And that is actually a fantastic way for you to make money online. It's helping me make over $100,000 a year and has been doing that successfully for 6 years now. So make sure you're checking out Kajabi, also linked in the description down below. Free trials for everything. Thanks to everybody. And again, we'll probably see you on Workshop Wednesday and FAQ Friday, usually around 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Stay awesome. We're going to close out with my book trailer, which is what we've been doing. Eventually, I will have some other video to close out for you guys on. But for now, we're going to close out on the book trailer. Stay awesome. I'll see you next time. I finally did it. I finished my book, Create Something Awesome, How Content Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. The book is available now in paperback and in Kindle, where you can read it on any e-reader or device. And I'm really excited about this. The audiobook is coming soon, probably October 2022. Oh my God, it's so great to be able to have this book done, put it up on the bookshelf, and to know that all of you who appreciate it, you want to hear what I have to say about the creator economy, becoming a full-time content creator, and what the experience and lifestyle of being a content creator actually is like.
This is the book. I put 20 chapters in here of the most important things I think that content creators could be focusing on today. I talk about the mental health aspect of being a content creator, getting discouraged, imposter syndrome, not charging what you're worth, and mostly actionable advice around monetizing your content properly, but also how to build an audience on your authenticity and what it's really like to start from zero, even today. So if you're interested, make sure you're checking out the book. You can order it on Amazon. You also probably order it in a lot of other places like Barnes & Noble, and it will be coming to other bookstores soon. Really excited about it. Thank you for all the support and love around the book and the positive reviews. Now go ahead and pick it up and make sure you go out